bit harder to break in the initial parts of the match, I feel.
Absolutely, yeah, because you're just like, until you get behind that one wall next to check, it's literally just like constant assaults from up there from anyone even vaguely long ranged. Although you don't see a lot of like the charger types, the pencil types on this map too often, because the sight lines are genuinely non-existent with the big hump in the middle. It just makes it so easy to throw bombs.
Yeah, if we were gonna see any particularly long-range weapons here, I would be expecting maybe some Rapid Blasters or Rapid Blaster or Pro, potentially some 96 gal, because I know those weapons are quite useful here. Again, it's a very poke-heavy map. Splatanas also do really well on this map. Again, it promotes a lot of aggression, and it can benefit comps that seek to exploit that. I'm seeing a lot from Amethyst Blizzard. One of these individuals, Dark Drew, has a variety of weapons that would do great on this map, ranging from all of the some blaster choices to the new camo mini splat lane, as well as the new Dreadringer. I'm expecting to see some variety here from both of these players.
Absolutely, and on the side of Galuga, I spotted one player with exclusively dualies on the list, and another with exclusively sloshers on the list. And if those aren't humpback weapons, I don't know what is. I see that In Pain as well on Amethyst Wizard, which could be crazy to see here. You mentioned a bunch of weapons, but I also think like Splatlings can kind of tend to fit in because they're able to move up with the group a lot faster. They're not restricted by the sight lines because they can change where they're standing, change those sight lines so much if they really just feel like it. I have seen some bows do some abhorrent things on this map as well.
Despite being a map that was designed back in Splatoon 2, it really does support a variety of weapons and playstyles here, even in with the new weapon classes that were introduced in Splatoon 3. Again, as I mentioned earlier, it's one of my favorite maps, if not my favorite map in the game. And that's just because I love moving on this map. The movement throughout this map, no matter the mode, is just some of the most fun I have in Splatoon, in my opinion. Assuming you can get out of base. But assuming you can get out of base and you're not being spawn camped, some of the movement you can do on this map through all of the dips and dives and the curved sloping allow you to narrowly avoid a bomb that in any other circumstance would kill you, or in my case, the bomb rolls perfectly onto me when any other time it would still kill me. But I'd like to think it's because of the architecture.
I have never seen the 1 second splat bomb fuse so well used than on this map, because oh my goodness, will that splat bomb land actually anywhere and find its way towards me?
The answer more often than not, at least for me, is yes, and that deeply upsets me because I adore this map, and anytime I die on it, I don't get to play on it. We're sorry, folks, for that. The match is taking a little bit to set up. We should be getting going any moment now. I mean, while we're here, basic questions. I mean, AC, what's your experience here in the game? What do you play? How long have you been in the scene? Stuff like that.
Back in my day, which was approximately a year ago, I was on a team. I was a big aggro support player, so I mentioned splat bombs because those were my life and soul. I played T-Tech. I threw those like it was my job, and that's because it was.
So you throw bombs, and then
you throw strikes, and then I throw strikes,
and then you throw more strikes and more bombs,
and then InSplash takes my job. Absolutely, which is also why I just this map especially I have a lot of memories of, because the splat bomb does things on this map, and just high mobility strikes that just clear that sort of clearing that back alley from check to goal is genuinely so important on this map, because if the other team's allowed to just set stuff up there, you are kind of cooked as far as getting past there. So you'll often see teams using tent shields or specials to try to sort of clear that out. And that
Please
just
show
like
me please show me a 10 or a Dynamo on either of these teams, and I will be the happiest commentator you have ever seen in the Splatoon scene. I swear it now. And I mean, we'll see in one moment as we're going into game one right here. Rainmaker, Humpback, Pump Track. I'm looking forward to it.
that's a pencil. Yeah, I see that gold pane. I see a lot of those fight heavy weapons you were mentioning, notably that roller, that stamper, and then V-Shot doing what V-Shot loves to do. Both teams rush in. Amethyst Blizzard manages to get that opening pop, and this roller tries to control the space as the opening. The tactical door comes out. The paintbrush wastes no time at all, pushing forward, getting one. Not letting up either, and just getting so much space, allowing their team the breathing room to get second pop, making sure everything behind them set up, but not enough support on their Rainmaker. Well, in that specific moment, in an instant, they turned that around.
It's very interesting right here because, you know, we were expecting like some high intensity comps right here, and we are seeing it. A very, very rounded, like good standard comp you see from Glooga here. But Amethyst, this is the most like offensive, like melee focused comp I've ever seen. Mind you, calling a paintbrush melee might be a bit disingenuous to paintbrush mains, but like still, this is like a roller, a stamper, a paintbrush, and a zap. This is a very close to mid-range comp, and it allowed Amethyst Blizzard to get in there in the first like 30 seconds of the match here. They once again got the Rainmaker, pushing Glooga back to their base, scattering them a little bit. They have a good lead right here, and they're hoping to close out the match right now with this Zuka and Cooler combo.
Unfortunately, though, with Strikes and Reef Slider both coming out, it's a very hard situation to survive as 3 go down on the side of Amethyst Blizzard. The last one, I believe, retreats to mid there. They are still contesting this Rainmaker with like suction bombs and such, but with just the amount of numbers coming from Glooga as they all went and respawned, they're able to just fully take back this bin. The Rainmaker resets to middle. The Amethyst Blizzard will likely get the top again, but Glooga makes sure they can't capitalize off of it by running a Reef Slider directly into it.
2-4 right here in the favor of Glooga. Cooler coming out on the side of Amethyst Blizzard. Cooler v Cooler right now as we're trying to hold control in midfield. One member of Glooga goes down, same for Amethyst Blizzard. They need to put a stop to the Rainmaker right now. Dark Drew trying to get a flank, but they use the quick super jump of the Cooler to get out, but the Rainmaker is stopped before it can get to pedestal. A bit of a mid-off right here. Going to need to retreat as that is a 3v1. Smart move. Unfortunately, Burst Bomb. You're in no hiding from that right there. And we're once again back into just this like standoff in mid where Glooga needs to get some picks, play together, and get that Rainmaker moving if they want to have a chance with about 2.5 minutes left in the game.
Absolutely, Amethyst Blizzard making sure no path is left untouched, making sure no one, like that Dapples especially, doesn't try to get behind them. Although with, I believe, a Cooler to worry about, that Dapples does not want to have as high of a death count as we see on some duels. The Zuka comes out, two go down, and Amethyst Blizzard once again wasting no time on this little alleyway. The Glooga is respawning with a Cooler though, which means that they're going to have a much easier time fending off this push than they might normally. They managed to take down the Rainmaker and the super jump, and just like in an instant again immediately re-clear this area. Although Amethyst Blizzard has gotten just crazy high points, and unless Glooga gets a really big push soon, they're not going to be able to outdo them.
Yeah, Glooga's a bit scattered right now. Members falling one by one to 2v1s on the side of Amethyst Blizzard. They once again put a stop before Glooga can get to checkpoint. Right now, the Rainmaker's in a bit of a disadvantaged position, as that's just a very easy hop, skip, and a jump away from getting a checkpoint for Glooga right here. But they're doing a good job holding it with about 1:15 left on the clock. Blizzard does pick it up just to try to get it in a better position for them to hold. Unfortunately, the roller goes down right there. This is a good spot for Glooga. They need to be able to, it's a 2v4, make that a 2v3 thanks to that Zuka shot. They need to be able to play together right here. They can't afford to feed right now, or else they're not going to be able to get through checkpoint and win this game. They got a minute left on the clock. This is very doable on this map. They just need to be smart and check their corners, and unfortunately, one of them goes down right there. Make that 3.
Absolutely, yeah. You saw them preparing. They put those strikes out. They almost got what they needed. But just in that instant, that one sharking, I believe Stamper it was, just really killed this ending push. And with 2 going down on their side, it looks like it might be a bit desync heavy with the way Luca's rushing in. Amethyst Blizzard, all they really need to do is hold it here. And if they can just fend off a couple of tact-coolered enemies, they honestly have this game in the bag with only 15 seconds left on the clock.
Wipeout right there.
Wipeout.
Okay, hold on. This is exactly what they need. 10 seconds left on the clock. Luga's making the advance. This Zuka goes a bit wild, unfortunately. 2 drop down. Rainmaker. Oh, that's 3 down the side of Gluga. Then that is going to be the game 1 in favor of Amethyst Blizzard. Well done, well done.
6,000 super jumps going to that Rainmaker as the tape was going up. Just, oh my goodness. Yeah, no, that was insanely close. With that wipeout at the end, it was looking like, you know, some absolutely wild overtime push was about to conspire. But Amethyst Blizzard just made sure that they didn't lose their cool. They just calmly respawned, rolled up, and what was it that got them? Because I saw a whole bunch of people die at once.
I think it was the roller and the stamp. They went off to the side here and just they quickly just like pincered the Rainmaker with the help of the zap, and they were able to just pick him off. And that's why, unfortunately, you need to like stick together in Splatoon. But against a team like that, even though there's no blaster, you don't quite literally stick together, because one person gets flicked, the other gets stabbed, and then you're both dead, or you know, the flick causes you to get slowed down. And yeah, I feel like the difference in team play here really affected it, because I saw Amethyst Blizzard picking a lot of 2v1s and picking people off just one at a time, able to just quickly, as you said at the end there, keep their cool. And in situations where they might have traded or been on the back foot, they were quickly able to like retreat, find a good respawn, and go back in together, so they weren't just wasting time and wasting their lives.
Absolutely. But with a mode change like this, going to Barnacle and Dime Zones, I'm honestly curious how the tables might turn here. Because I remember, like, you know, we saw a lot of those sudden hyper aggro pushes from Amethyst Blizzard there. But when it's zones and it's more focused on holding the point in the middle, unless they can like get into a crazy lockout position, you know, that could very well go very differently.
On this map, a bit harder, especially since it's not Clan Blitz. If it was Clan Blitz, I would say, yeah, they could definitely do that. Since it's zones, maybe a bit harder. But, I mean, hey, we saw in the last game, Amethyst Blizzard was very good at holding their, like, defense at the, like, for most of the game. They, like, until, like, the last minute, they prevented Gluga from getting to the checkpoint. But I genuinely do think that after that first game and how they slowly throughout the entire game were able to adapt, I think Gluga might have a shot at this. They know how Amethyst Blizzard likes to fight now, and hopefully they can like adjust their own play style so they can you know, take on some of the use some of Amethyst Blizzard's own strategies against them and just pick them off one at a time.
Absolutely. And on top of that, the pencil that Gluga picked in that previous match is going to be a lot more in place here. And I saw the way they sort of like insta-covered their alley whenever they were taking it back from Amethyst Blizzard. And if that sort of energy, that sort of cover can be brought to Barnacle Dime Zones, I think it's just like huge, honestly.
It'll be much more effective on this zone, since this map too, since it's much more narrow. It's not really as slopey. It's just like the middle center, which is, you know, a rectangle, and then there's the 2 side areas, which is a rectangle. And you know what's good at covering rectangles? A pencil. Lessons here in drawing with Jolteon Jacket.
And that Blue Dapple Reef Slider, also good at covering rectangles.
Yeah. I don't think we'll see too much of a change in comp from Gluga here. Their comp was very well balanced, and I feel like it'll it was very good for Humpback. I think it'll be just as good, if not better, on this map. I am interested to see how Amethyst Blizzard reacts. I wonder if they'll change their comp at all, because I mean, they had I was thinking they would get outpainted by the Slosher, the Dualies, and the Pencil, but honestly they had so much paint on the ground last game that I wouldn't be surprised if they didn't change at all.
Yeah, no, it's definitely going to speak to whether that was sort of a hump track original plan, or if that is just how they play this video game. Very similar set coming from Gluga, but we do see Oh, that's a comp. That's a comp, right? The return
Okay,
of
let's
the
go double Splatling.
absolutely return of the brush, the super Zuka spam Splatling. That sort of headed is gonna bring them a characteristic back that they didn't really have in on Humpback. And that dread, which just the poking power and just the general zones. It's a very good zone swap game.
We were already, we were already 20 seconds into the map, and we already had our first reef slider. I want to keep track of how many of those we see throughout this game. I'm going to guess there's going to be at least 12. Anyways, right now, Amethyst Blizzard in purple here is in control, counting down to about the 60 mark on their points. They're in a good position. This crowd hoping to get Gluga back in the game here as they're able to pick one off for Amethyst Blizzard. Counter reef slider right here. Gets all three! That is a wipeout right there! You clip that... You clip that Reef-Slider kill right now, my man. Nah, just right back into the fight. They got 30 points left with only a minute down on the clock.
Oh my goodness, yeah, as we enter the last 20 ticks, it is dangerous territory for Gluga. They gotta get back in there, or else there just literally won't be a game to speak of. With 3 going down and only 3 ticks left on the clock, it's just looking nigh impossible, as even a pencil cannot save that zone. And before you could blink, Map 2 is over. Amethyst Blizzard proving that they weren't just some hyper aggro team that was good on Humpback, but they can absolutely hold their own in holding a zone.
Yeah, and when it comes to a game like that, you see how what makes the modes in Splatoon so special, because obviously that Rainmaker map went down to overtime, and then was decided in the last few seconds of that overtime map in a quick decisive action by Amethyst Blizzard. But Amethyst Blizzard in this got control very early on in the map, taking it from Gluga, who only got 3 points off, and then they just held. And unfortunately, if you can't break in during a Splat Zones game, you're unfortunately just gonna lose, because that timer will just keep ticking down until you can take zone control away from them. And unfortunately, Gluga weren't able to get out of their base in time.
Absolutely, that zone timer is absolutely perilous when there's no zones kind of relies on penalty points to make the timer super long, because you realize without any penalty points, that timer is 1 minute, literally just flat. A tick is 0.6 seconds. So it's just if you can hold the zone from when you first grab it for 1 solid minute, you save yourself so much trouble of trading penalty points, getting just all of that. Zones can just truly go like that. And yeah, no, absolutely dominant set so far from Amethyst Blizzard, but I say so far because this is groups where we do play all 3. So next up, we still have Tower Control on Hagglefish Market.
Oh, this is a special rotation for me right here. This is when I play in tournament, this is always the one that me and my team are the most excited to see. It's a very simple map. It's very flat, save for the areas off to the side, and then once you get into the base. But it's just I feel like it's just such fun to play and counterplay on this map. It really is a test of your skill, and it'll be interesting to see how the raw offensive power of Amethyst Blizzard will be held here by Gluga's. I do feel Gluga's, as a seemingly more defensive play style, will be able to do better on tower control, as I feel like they'll be able to push Amethyst Blizzard out and maybe establish some ground for themselves. I think they need to get more paint on the ground, because if they can outpaint Amethyst Blizzard, they can quickly move up and I feel pick them off one by one. But that also just depends on what comp we see, because it's very clear that these people got some range in their weaponry.
Absolutely. And another thing with tower control in general, while we saw Rainmaker, a mode where you can literally just pick up the objective and sprint it to the other side, or Zones, a mode where you don't have to actively be on the zone, you can scale as far up as you need to. Tower is unique in that at least one member, no matter how far up you're able to scale, which is Amethyst Blizzard's specialty, one person always gotta be standing on that tower, which can definitely maybe give Gluga some room, some time to make a play, and to just really turn the game around. But we'll see how that comes into play here shortly as this map begins.
Game 3 tower control Hagglefish market. We got Amethyst Blizzard in their signature purple right here going against Gluga in the green. You know, I had to do one correct, you know, like just the full U sound. I think it's at least a second. Glue. We're seeing a, wow, drastically different comp on the side of Amethyst Blizzard. Well, I say drastically, two weapons are different. We're seeing once again the head and the paintbrush right here, but we swapped out for Tentatek that unfortunately goes down right there trying to get a flank and a S-Blast, custom S-Blast? I can't remember what the actual name of it is.
92.
Right now, Gluga currently
91.
trying to push up right here. Unfortunately, one goes down, and Cooler out on the side of Amethyst Blizzard, who hoping to just keep mid in control right here. It looks like they have got a bit of an advantage as they got a Booyah Bomb coming out right here, hoping to establish some a presence as they go against Gluga right now.
Absolutely, Amethyst Blizzard pushing up quickly. They seem to be fully prepared for the fact that somebody has to stay on tower, because this Heavy Ed is not at all bothered by it, and this S-Blast is scaled up, just able to keep that pencil all the way up on that grate that I truly have never seen anyone stand on. But as a couple members of Amethyst Blizzard go down, Gluga is flooding this area again. 3 go down on Amethyst Blizzard, a wipeout in favor of Gluga. Which is really not something that we saw too often, especially in that dominant last zones game. So, like, it may be true. They may have a better time on tower because they have the time to sort of put together the plays, form up a team push, not get desynced, like we were seeing in previous games here.
Oh, let's go. We're seeing some of the best stuff that you see in Splatoon, which is some momentum on the side of Gluga right here. They got a wipeout as well as we're able to get a few picks off it on their push right here. They are unfortunately going to have to fall back a little right now so they don't get picked off a little bit, but they need to make sure they maintain control of mid. They need to keep the paint on the ground because when they got that wipeout, they were able to quickly paint in to Amethyst Blizzard's base. Right now, it's 2 down on the side of Amethyst Blizzard, though they do have a Cooler and a Wave Breaker about to go out. Actually, I can't remember what the special is on that paintbrush. Right now, Gluga is hoping to get back in there. They got Azuka ready to come out as well as some strikes. I feel like this is going to be a good push for them heading into the first checkpoint.
Absolutely, Gluga managing to get a crab up on the tower as well. That's a big thing. Although where there is crab, there will be strikes. A very good crab shredder counter, and immediately followed up by 2 people from Amethyst Blizzard, just instantly taking the tower. We're seeing a lot of trading back and forth, more so than we really did in the other games. Although Rainmaker, we saw a bit of it. Pencil up here on the glass, where Pencil loves to be and thrives, and our signature little duo of S-Blast poking and Paintbrush putting a giant hitbox between the enemies and S-Blast. Absolutely trying to shred through some people. Gluga trying to poke and managing to keep Amethyst Blizzard decently at bay, as no one on Amethyst Blizzard's on the tower right now. And this
nobody expects the sharking nobody expects the sharking paintbrush right there.
True. Yo, this is gonna be crazy when it comes up.
Yeah, right now it's just a lot of fighting in mid right now, just hoping to like maintain area. Amethyst Blizzard technically just need to hold time for another minute and 40 seconds, which they are more than capable to do. A little bit of a Zuka duel right there, going in the favor of King right here. With Cooler coming out, it seems like Amethyst Blizzard is wanting to actually push this objective as much as they can. Wall coming out right there from the paintbrush, unfortunately decides to fall back right now, not to get too hasty and like being patient. They don't want to get picked off right now because again, they're in the lead, but if they drop off one by one, Gluga will be able to make a little comeback, especially since they got through that first checkpoint. They're only at 10 points behind. This is a very doable comeback for Gluga right now. We only have a minute and 15 left on the clock. I'm wondering how this match is going to go.
Absolutely. Gluga, you mentioned they're only 10 points behind, and their defense of this left tower side, what's it called? That left snipe, whenever the tower goes by there, it almost instantly gets completely cleared off. And I wouldn't even be surprised if Amethyst Blizzard just saw these last 45 seconds and tried to take them to just swat down, play it like that zones match they had before, swat down any attempts at taking the middle of the map. Because if they're not able to make it past that tower, going down too much at that tower might just spell another 3 down or wipeout scenario that Galuga can get some crazy momentum off of. And yeah, you see it there. They're just letting Galuga approach them because goodness gracious do they need to. And this head is just absolutely shredding, in case of shredding anyone who approaches.
You got a full charge on Heady. You're hiding behind a corner. They can't shoot you. Wait for them to run, and you will see success right here. Unfortunately, Amethyst Blizzard is a bit scattered right here. 2 down on their side. Galuga needs to get in here. That crab coming out as they come into the last thing, but unfortunately, it goes down, and that will be Amethyst Blizzard taking your set 3-0. Despite the fact that that was a 3-0, these were some pretty close games, say, for the Zones match. And honestly, I feel like Galuga could have very much taken this set if they had just managed to play together a bit more. They unfortunately had the thing of like getting a bit desperate, especially near the end of the game. We saw that back on Rainmaker, and we see it again right here. They both peek left right here and unfortunately go down to one-headed spray, and that is not what you need on your final push, because then you're both down and the specials are just going to pick you off. They did do a good job of just holding it for a sec, waiting for their teammate to respawn, not getting too picky, too desperate, and were able to pick off that S-Blast and get a few more points on the thing. They were actually about to win, but unfortunately that crab got picked off right at the end there and sealed the deal for Amethyst Blizzard.
Absolutely. If that crab hadn't got picked up on the gotten picked off at the end there, I genuinely think that Galuga could have taken that 3rd round, because
they were 1 point behind.
Yeah, they were literally 1 point behind. When the tape came up, I honestly thought that they got that they had crossed that barrier right as overtime began or something. Just genuinely so close. But yeah, the Amethyst Blizzard was doing such a good job of splitting attention there.
Yeah, and I very much I loved it when Galuga did seem to adapt. They did seem to find their footing, especially in that first push on that last game, because they quickly got the wipeout and quickly were like, okay, we have to move in now. They weren't hesitant. They weren't overly aggressive. They got in there, and when they unfortunately got picked off, they fell back. And it's a bit unfortunate that they weren't able to reestablish their place again until those last seconds. But once again, Amethyst Blizzard showing that the best thing you can do in moments of desperation is keep a calm head. They were down 2-4 as they were approaching 10 points behind, but they were able to keep their cool and pick off that crab, and were able to get a person on tower before Galuga were able to cross the finish line.
Absolutely. That ending moment really just made that entire game 3, but the rest of the set also going in their favor. Just wild dominant set. But no more of that, because up next we have I believe Turn Left versus Feeding No Frenzy. Who I guess doesn't deserve to have their name.
Yeah, these guys will be a bit easier to say in terms of name thing. We can either say Left or Frenzy, you know? It's a good, one-word thing and not as catchy as, the other. Because your turn doesn't feel that feels like you're telling the player to, turn around! He's right behind you! Shoot him!
He's right behind me, isn't he?
And Frenzy, I feel like that's just that's iconic right there. You can remember that, and maybe we'll remember them in this set. I hope they're based on that name. They're ferocious. I want to see aggressive play from a team like that. And also, please, somebody give me a Dynamo in these sets. I say it every stream I'm on, but I want to see Dynamo. Come on, man. It's the most hyped weapon in the game, in my opinion. Not biased at all.
Absolutely. Looking through some of these profiles as we've got that that sort of player board loading up, I see a one of the players on Turn Left has one single weapon listed on their Sendo profile, and I believe that is Dynamo Roller.
Let's go!
So big if that's a recent Sendo profile.
Okay, I was gonna point out how it's really funny you say that, because the first person on Feeding Frenzy, they only have one weapon on their profile. It's not Dynamo, it's Wiper, but that is kind of very funny right there. Looking at Frenzy's comp layout right here, I'm seeing a very standard comp. Oh my god, that guy is a nozzle nose player. that is 4 nozzle noses and a squeezer sticker. If I do not see a nozzle nose this set, I will riot.
They call bro the masher.
Aside from that, we're looking at like a fairly standard comp, like, you know, a Slayer, a support, a skirmisher, and seemingly like secondary support, maybe a backline player. Just a very like standard comp setup on the side of Frenzy, but also like aggressive. It's not like super long range weapons, say for the nozzle nose. So I'm looking forward to seeing what might happen with that team right there.
Absolutely. And speaking of those teams, the first game of that set is going to be on the good old map of Tower Control Inkblot. This map, I have a love-hate relationship with this map because it's fair, but unfortunately it is also fair. So when I am bad at the video game, I will lose it.
Yeah, because it does sort of have everything that like both attacking and defending players need in order to win a game in as quick of a time or as long as a time as possible. In the sense of, this map I feel can be either the quickest map in the game or the longest map in the game. Just depending on how good or bad you are in that particular rotation, because it offers a lot of play in mid, you know, with your 2 towers on either side, as well as just a large open space, and then even more off to the side you have the 2 trenches, which allow for various flank options. Once you get it past the first checkpoint, you have numerous options of attack if you're the attacking team, as well as points to come out and defend or shark. It offers a lot of play and counterplay, and then counterplay of that counterplay. It's just very interesting to see. If you're not paying attention and there's a roller on the attacking team, you might just immediately get swept when you try to defend, but most players at high level are very good at detecting that. So it's going to be really, I feel like this is going to be a battle of wits and patience more than anything else.
Absolutely. And I don't remember quite if you mentioned it, but another absolute hold on, I gotta turn the brightness slider up on these real quick. Another absolute staple of this map. I think it really lends to that. You were mentioning, gosh, what do you call it? You were mentioning the attacker and defender side as sort of geometry and such. And I think something else that lends to that insanely is those gosh, bats. That's what it's called. The bats. Because
we got our lovely Mello in chat saying that right as well.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. You the bats truly are the most both sides can benefit place, because attacker teams want to be in there so bad to help that to just be a buffer between the tower and the enemy spawn, and defending teams want to be in there so bad because that is just like every map got their overlook onto the tower. But this one being so heavily contested makes it so necessary to control it.
I can fully agree with that. I will say a funny thing that happened the last time, well, not the last time, but one of the previous times I had the pleasure to commentate this map mode on stream. I saw probably the most insane usage of Reef Slider in my life. Which you know, we're going into the game right now, so I'll save that anecdote for later. But if we have a bit of time before game 2, I'll definitely share it. Round 1 right here, Tower, Inkblot Art Academy. I almost said Museum Dolphoncino.
Is that new Hydra? Oh my goodness, this is a beautiful comp. Oh goodness. I love this.
Oh yes, we got a Nautilus, the new Hydra, Splat Lane, a Hero Shot, and a Dynamo Roller. Let's go, versing up against a Wiper, a Tenatech Splatter Shot, a Paintbrush, and there is the Nozzle Nose that we were thinking about seeing right here. Just a bit of counter play here in the mid-beginning, a couple strikes coming out right now. This Wiper is holding down the left side right here. They're like, somebody will go up to that tower. Unfortunately, the Dynamo saw them, and as Dynamos do, they were very persuasive in getting them out of there. Dynamo riding the tower right there, just trying to get some easy flicks off. Unfortunately, Ink out of the way, calling in for backup, but unfortunately doesn't get it and goes down right here. I feel like that'll be a little stop to turn left's initial push right here, as the rest of the team has to fall back.
Absolutely. We see turn left here able to keep their own room on plat at least, but that might not last long as this Nautilus is forced to drop because of these strikes. They have set up a tactical cooler to make that defense a little easier. And of course the Dynamo Roller is there to just cover literally everything visible with ink. But with turn left, you know what? That hammer works well there. And one single guy that they're just not bothering on tower, he gets there, don't worry.
Yeah, okay. They're a bit scared right there because the rest of Frenzy was kind of in the back right there, so I definitely feel like turn left could have just pushed them back, but they were able to get him out eventually, though it did allow Frenzy to secure that check. Again, hesitancy. You cannot be hesitant in this game. A moment of hesitancy secures your fate. Right now we got Ryan coming in. Oh no, there's a stamp. Unfortunately, gets immediately picked back off right there. 10 missiles coming out. We don't want to get picked off by these 10 missiles right now because turn left needs to get back in there, especially with that rain coming in right now. It's currently 4v3. Make that 3v2 on the side of turn left. 3v1. They need to take advantage of this now. Last person's here on right side. They need to get in here and with a cooler ready to go. I feel like this is their opportunity to push.
Absolutely. The Zuka is coming out as well. And while that Zuka comes out on that sort of plat area and just absolutely covers that plat area, this Viper manages to get behind, trip up the tower, get that Dynamo down. Just a Viper behind on this map is genuinely just like such a good thing to have, although it does get tracked down by, I think, like 3 separate members of the team, making sure it's gone. But that does buy Feeding No Frenzy the time to get back onto their plat, get into proper position for defending, and hopefully stop turn left from making another super major push. That
we're seeing not at work right here, just being as annoying as possible, just pushing in and then pushing out, trying to get as much pain in. We're probably about to see some rain come out here once turn left has a... Oh, unfortunately, I was wrong because the knot got picked off right there. Looks like Frenzy is trying to just hold their ground right here, get some paint on the ground, buy enough time to build some specials. 2 specials on the side of turn left right here. Frenzy is trying to play it smart right now. They're waiting for turn left to group together. They were able to do so. Those strikes able to pick one off who got displaced, but unfortunately 2 go down thanks to that Nautilus right there. The double Splatling comp able to just separate the team and just pick them off one by one. Levis just holding this tower, gunning down whoever may approach. Bubble coming out right here just to buy a bit of time on this tower, and they're going to get that cooler right there from the Dynamo, doing as Dynamo do, being annoying. Yes! Yes, it makes my heart so happy.
Dynamo absolutely covering the whole field. Just like it makes it impossible for Feeding No Frenzy to approach in that moment, giving turn left the time they need to scale up. Now that turn left is sort of populating the bats a little more, we actually see the Knot, the T-Tech, everyone fighting for it, although with that tower also on the plat, Feeding No Frenzy can't put their full attention on, or wasn't putting their full attention on bats. So turn left got a little bit of it. As some fights are taken back to mid as this Viper chases someone down.
Yeah,
we do see a lone Nautilus.
Frenzy going into mid right there. Thankfully, the rest of the team, save for one member of turn left, got picked off. So when he came back to like, oh, everybody's gone, I'm going to pick the tower. Oh, God, that's 2 guys, and had to jump out. Once again, we're back in mid here. Feeding No Frenzy needs to get some paint on the ground because turn left has a lot of turf control right now. 10 missiles coming out that might be able to pick off some of the slower weapons on turn left right here. Trade going out. It's 3v3 right now. Zuka coming out as well as some strikes. It's just going to be going into overtime right here for Feeding No Frenzy. Unfortunately, I feel like that might be the end. Yes, it is. Turn left will secure this first game. That'll bring them up 1-0 heading into the first of 3. Or playoff 3.
Yeah, no, absolutely. They managed to get a bit of an early lead, but it wasn't that far of a lead compared to the one that Feeding No Frenzy managed to get. And then they managed to just like they push again, they make it further, and turn left is just able to like they did it. They we see Feeding No Frenzy here on the replay. With the strikes, although it just really rarely translated into anything. I think just the way that turn left was able to completely cover area with that Dynamo and with that Nautilus. Those two just did such... Yeah, Dynamo, Nautilus, Hydra together just so good at area denial, because you either get beamed down or AoE'd to death.
Yeah, and I mean the paintbrush was also able to like be the like like a good, fast, and annoying complement to the uh Dynamo and the Knot right there, as it was able to just zip in, pick people off that might have been, you know, a tad bit out of place, and just also allow the rest of the team to just move in a bit quickly. Because aside from the two members of that team are extremely slow in the Dynamo and the Hydra Splatling, but they were able to make it work. I mean, they took the first game right here. We're going to be going into round 2, which is going to be on Museum del Foncino. Now, this is a map that I feel is just nothing is ever boring on this map, regardless of the mode.
No, with Rainmaker especially, something will constantly be happening. Clams, another all-timer to see on Museum, but that is a story for another day. Rainmaker is a big one. My favorite little spinner with its strangely elevated arms to let you jump from that mid spinner directly on top of the checkpoint. It's definitely, I think that area control specialty that we saw from Turn Left can definitely shine again here, because being able to control enemy plat on this, like, and just the area around their spinner is just such a valuable, like, ability.
I agree with you there, and because of that, I also don't know if we'll see much of a comp change from them. This is a map that is very good for Dynamo, and I feel like Hydra can also do a lot here, especially if one of them is the dedicated Rainmaker carrier. I suspect that it's going to be very... Oh, well, we do got one switch, which is the Hydra swapping off to a Wellstring. We got a Pencil coming out, as well as the change from a Nozzle Nose to the Squeezer right there on the side of Feeding No Frenzy. This will be, I feel, a much more balanced comp. We already see a bit of a flankage coming out from the Skirmisher right here. Unfortunately, Turn Left was very much ready for it, and as their name suggested, they turned left, saw him, and were quickly able to force him out of that area right now, as mid is actually in the favor of Turn Left.
Absolutely. Turn Left pushing up so hard. They're able to just, like, 2 down on Feeding No Frenzy already. They do just barely miss the rotator rotation, but the spinner rotation, but they do not care. They will jump it anyways. Feeding No Frenzy did get a bit of time to respawn, but even that's not enough to keep up with the fabled Wellstring object damage amongst other sources, like that Nautilus especially. Honestly, Nautilus and Wellstring combined, you are not getting that rain pop. Give up.
Oh, absolutely not.
So it definitely is going to make for an interesting dynamic of, like, how is Feeding No Frenzy going to sort of contest that? Because a lot of their weapons are not, like, it's going to be very difficult for them to contest that pop. So they're definitely going to have to focus on making sure that the enemies aren't there to pop it in the first place, I feel.
As long as they have pop, though, so long as they have the Rainmaker, that they may not need to worry about pop. But unfortunately, it seems like they can't really get in right here. Turn left, the Dynamo just sitting at the highest peak of the museum, slowly as it rotates towards their opponents, just flinging away, and they were able to put a stop to Feeding No Frenzy's advance right here. It seems like they're going to be letting the Rainmaker reset. Cooler coming out right here on the side. The Squeezer managed to sneak behind and able to get a kill, but unfortunately goes right back down to the Dynamo. The Rainmaker does reset right here. Dynamo picks off another one. Turning left is just doing their best to hold, because right now they have the advantage. Neither team has the checkpoint right now, so I feel like Turning Left is going to want to get in there right now. Not is able to pick off one real quick, but immediately gets counter revenged by the Paintbrush. Both teams at a bit of a stalemate right here. They need to build some specials and get in there.
Oh, goodness. A DC on the side of Turn Left comes out suddenly in the middle of this gameplay. I actually do not quite recall the rules on it, but both teams
I believe since it was past the 3-minute mark, they are going to have to play the rest of the game out. So I think so Turning Left is going to be a man down for the rest of this game. This could be what Feeding Frenzy needs in order to get in there. I say that, but so far, Turning Left is still doing an amazing job of just holding their area. The Nod is like, okay, our main Rainmaker bubble popper is gone. My job now. So they just hold that Rainmaker, watching the steps, getting to pick off the early push from Feeding No Frenzy right here, doing their best not to lose their lives. Special trade right there on the side of turning left, but they are able to hold right here, and the Rainmaker is back in this bubble.
Absolutely. That Nautilus on turn left said, "Oh, we're missing our AOB guy on ramp. Hold on, I got you." And just immediately strolled up. Although with that sort of risky play that ended up in whoever picked up Rainmaker briefly getting splatted, I said not really something you can take as much with like one player permadown. We're seeing two people, like, you know, those two quicker frontline weapons. Not frontline exactly, but those two more fight-heavy weapons. They're going down a lot, and it's giving Feeding No Frenzy a lot of room to move forward. That perma extra man advantage is just really important here. And as this Nautilus struggles to hit shots, Feeding No Frenzy almost gets the Rainmaker in, though the last second they get splatted. However, with that wipeout, it looks like Feeding No Frenzy is able to secure a knockout for game 2 here, bringing the set overall to, I believe, 1-1.
Despite the absolute clutch Dynamo V-Flick to put an end to the Rainmaker before they could KO, that is going to be a game for Feeding No Frenzy. Ironically, despite Feeding being in the name of the team in purple, it was the turn left that unfortunately started the feed near the end. Now, of course, obviously, I can't judge them really for that. They're a permanent person down, and it is in any game, if you have a person down on your team, you're going to be suffering for it. But we saw in the beginning of their situation that Turning Left was able to actually keep their cool. They are able to keep their heads, but unfortunately, once Feeding No Frenzy got past that checkpoint, it was all downhill from there. However, as the set is 1-1, we're going to be seeing who ultimately takes it in this game 3, and honestly, I feel like it could go either way right here.
Absolutely. Because, like, unfortunate DC loss there, but Turn Left was really proven that they had what was needed. Importantly, they had what they needed to control their side of the map, to control that middle sometimes when they needed to. And control is going to be the name of the game as they're headed to Mako Mark zones, where you just, in that middle of the map, nothing more important.
Hey, you ever seen a map more curated for Dynamo and Hydra in my life? I have. It's called Humpback Pump Track, but this is a good second choice right here.
Absolutely. Although it does have clearer sightlines than Humpback Pump Track, so we may see that Pencil get the ability to shine. Big day for Not and Dynamo. What appears to be a Dynamo one-trick, or, you know, very heavily Dynamo player from what we saw today.
It makes my heart sore seeing one of my brethren out there. But like, hey, I honestly think Feeding No Frenzy has sort of figured out how to, like, maybe counter the Dynamo play, as we saw them actually doing a bit better in that second game even before the DC happened. I feel like it really just depends on like how each team picks fights, because we've seen Feeding No Frenzy get maybe a little bit scattered, and then similar things happen to Turning Left when they get a bit desperate. So I feel like it really is just a game similar to game 1 of who can just keep their cool in this moment and pick fights together.
Absolutely. What's gonna matter is who's pushed on the back foot, because both teams can exploit the other if they're on the back foot. Even after, you know, with the perma back foot from last round, I did notice two members of Turn Left going down at the same time, implying that, like, they were taking those 2v1s and they were, like, still going down. And being able to just defeat that. Maybe not 2v1, but being able to defeat both of them at the same time definitely speaks to the fact that they're probably getting used to these fights. They're probably going to be a bit better at that this round, and we're going to have to see. Yet again, we do see that Hydra not Dynamo that we love to see from this team so far.
Hey, don't discredit. I've been putting a lot of love on the Dynamo and the Hydra, but don't discredit that shooter right there. They've been a constant of the team. They're doing a great job of just holding down, making sure they get consistent Zukas right here. Early zone advantage is going to go to Turning Left, who have about 70 seconds right now. Though those missiles will allow Feeding No Frenzy to disrupt the rest of the team and maybe get some picks off right there. The Hydra's so weak. They are able to capitalize and get it right here. One member down on each side of the board, some rain coming out for turning left right here. They're hoping to get back into the game, but Feeding No Frenzy is able to take the lead right here as we go into about 4 minutes, 10 seconds left on the clock.
Absolutely, turn left manages to neutralize the zone, even cap it, adding a pretty hefty penalty onto Feeding No Frenzy, which is just like, it adds a whole bunch more time that turn left gets to breathe later. But ideally for them, they don't want that later to happen. They set up this bubble with this Hydra, and is that Hydra? I forget. They set up the bubble.
It is with the Hydra. Yes.
Absolutely. Okay, sick. They set up the bubble with the Hydra. They definitely know the importance of that right stack, because controlling your enemy stack just gives you so much control over where they can and can't move. Although, you know, controlling that flat area also gives that a lot of control. Although, as you can see, with one going down and one being forced off of it, it's a much harder one to control. Although, as I'm talking, turn left manages to get it all the way down to 20 ticks. And with 3 going down on the side of Feeding No Frenzy, there's only 10 remaining.
That double kill right there from the good stamp usage right there from their Viper player. But unfortunately, turning left just was able to prevent the respawning members of Feeding No Frenzy from getting in, and that will secure their victory 2-1 in this set. That was a beautiful game of Splat Zones right there.
Absolutely. Even though it wasn't like literally, like, you know, even with that little bit of penalty, it still managed to just go so quickly. Yeah, just like, I think what really made that game at the end there, we can kind of see it with this. I think it really starts at this moment. So many people go down on Feeding No Frenzy. Turn left's picks just like, you know, skyrocket. That Nautilus gets one. That everyone on the team chases down this hammer to one of their dismays. This Nautilus honestly just holding the line at the front, able to just get such consistent kills. Anyone that tries to trickle in just gets it instantly shot down. And yeah, no, just like a beautiful closer for game 3. They realized they were 1-1. You know, we can win this match. Let's do it. And sure enough, they did.
They just locked in and were like, okay, internet, kindly, Nintendo servers, please do not mess this up right here at the end. And it did not. They were able to just hold fast, and then, you know, the Knot was able to jump into Feeding No Frenzy's base, and then just ominously stand on their box and just dare anyone to, like, try to come into their line of sight. And that is a 2-1 set right here as we're waiting to go into group number 3. I've been having a great night so far. How about you, AC?
Absolutely. No, it's been some sorry, yes, absolutely yes. It's been some great absolutely not. Yeah, no, it's been some great sets so far. We do seem to keep having one team that is like very, very dominant. So I would love to see, to end groups off, something very close would be interesting here. But you know, really,
I feel like that's the curse of stream, because often I'll be like, yeah, I really want to see some close maps, and then all of the games that I commentate for are like, you know, close in the moment, but like the games are back to back like victories for the most part. And then you look to the ones that aren't streamed, and it's like it was a 3-2 in like the like the losers finals or something. Where was that game?
Crazy style down there. Yeah, no. Yeah, obviously, like, you know, to no discredit of the teams that haven't had their success on stream, all of the teams that we've seen today have been performing very well. Like, their opponents, yeah, just all the teams we've seen. And it's been an absolute blast seeing the different sorts of play styles. And here we are going into this third game today. And I believe with Kolmana and Kombucha, we are seeing our first appearance of Clam Blitz this tournament.
That we are. I'm honestly surprised we didn't get to it sooner. And this is a very interesting map, which is Scorched Gorge. Clam Blitz on this map is a bit of a rough spot for me personally. Scorch is always a bit of a tricky map just due to how mid is structured with that large pillar. It's the weird cousin of Blackbelly Skate Park. For people who played the previous 2 games. And such as, like, there's just a large tower in the middle that gives you access to either side of the map. and then a slope that allows either team to come in, and that's where the basket is, right behind that slope. But most of the time, offensive pushes come down to the entire attacking team being on that slope, and it's just whether or not enough bombs get thrown at them to dissuade them from pushing in at that time.
Absolutely. High util investment is just the #1 thing to look out for when approaching that sort of clan blitz, Scorch Gorge. Yeah, no, high util investment, because otherwise you're not making it through there. I've seen many like strikes, many a Zuka, many a hammer, just literally anything to just break through. And then honestly, you need some staying power as well, unless you want to just only work in multiples of 10. Because it can get rough. If one team manages to get a few extra clams in, the other team only throws in big clams. It almost acts as like a tiebreaker mechanic, where they just, they got it.
I feel like certain specials do shine a lot here. Specifically, Reef Slider is always a great special to use in Clan Blitz. However, I feel like for this map specifically, Kraken is really good, as it allows that staying power, like you mentioned, able to just like sort of push in and like hold a bit of space, and then maybe even if like you successfully break in and push the rest of the enemy team off, you can get up on their platform and hold down area right there. So I feel like that's just very useful special, and also just an underrated thing. Again, we mentioned the fact that it's mainly a lot of attacks are centered on the slope. If you have one person go around on the Great connected to mid and like sneak around the entire team, nobody sees it coming, and then they all explode. And that is funny when that happens.
True, but one Pencil, Hydra, or anything else with a sightline under the sun will be making sure that doesn't happen, because that has happened to everyone at least once. But you know what? You see a Dualies, you see a Wiper, they're feigning for that. They dream of the day they get to go over Greats unnoticed. Either get some jumps in or just get to absolutely mess up the back line. It can get wild back there if someone does indeed make it through. And those are the two main ways.
There's another Dynamo player on Kombucha. I'm so happy. Sorry, I was looking at the comps for the teams right here. Kombucha currently is looking like a very that person does not have any weapons listed. That's just a rotating shark image on their Sendo account.
Anything can happen.
Looking like just like a classic mix of support, Slayer, Anchor, and Skirmisher right here on the side of Kombucha being held down by a lovely Dynamo. And this is a good, this is a pretty I'd say fair Dynamo map. There are some very good places that it can get, but also a lot of places that things can counter it. I am wondering how Komena is able to counter that. What is their comps looking like?
I'm looking over here, so I do see a lot of very normal choices, but if you look closely, you may see Sploosh, In-Sploosh, Gold Spray. What's going on here? Now, hold on.
To be fair, I also saw two Sploosh players on the side of Kombucha, so this just might be a very
Kombucha.
I have the zoomies.
Yo, please, bro. It's unlikely.
Okay, well, so one of them is literally called Sploosh. So I wonder what weapon they made.
Stanford,
I was right.
Never mind. Hello? There's Sploosh and Sploosh Man. My bad, Chief. Goodness gracious. Okay. No, we ball with it.
I was not. Yeah. It's not a Dynamo roller.
Oh, and live Sploosh gameplay.
Live Sploosh gameplay. Very aggressive comp on the side of Kombucha right here. And a similarly matched, but a slightly more mid-range thing from Chimera right here. One member down on each side as both teams are just vying for eco. How did Chimera get that much eco so fast? Unfortunately, their members get picked off a bit right here. That is a splashdown that will unfortunately put a stop to any early push right there from Kombucha. Right now, it's just a bunch of mid-offs, 2v2s right there. One person down on each side, the rest of the table. Okay, we'll call it a draw, and they peel off. Just a lot of mid-offs right now. It is seeming like Komena is able to maybe break in a bit more. I'm seeing a little bit more green on the ground. What are you thinking, AC?
Yeah, no, I absolutely see. I think they're really gonna. You mentioned more green on the ground, and I think that playing into paint is a major thing that Coleman is gonna try to do, because that, you run an in splash, that tells me You have an in splash, but then you also have a brush and dualies. That tells me you are trying to, like, that in splash wants to get that paint down. They're gonna have to try to create a safe environment for that in splash to paint to just feed back into those aggro weapons that can scale up a lot more. Although, you know, with that ever so constant front line of Sploosh, Stamper, and S-Blast, it's going to be a very hard line to break through. Although, break through they do as they begin to maybe pull clams up here. They do it. They get the
classic of the classic of you're trying to make a super clam because your clams are all very spread, but somebody else picks up the clam you're trying to throw to your lead clam carrier. But that is going to be a very, very, very solid push from Komena right here, getting it all the way down to 47. Before Kombucha was able to recover right here. It does seem like that's the end of their push as 2 members go down and the rest have to retreat, and giving them a penalty of 26. But that was a very solid push. There is over half of the game left, so Kombucha is very much able to make a comeback right here, especially since they got 3 specials on deck and a pity clam just waiting in the wings. Though that splashdown might get one right here. It unfortunately does not. Oh, 2 down on the side of Kombucha.
Yeah, no, that splashdown, while it didn't directly get somebody, that on parry chased down the one that it tagged, and then, you know, that combined with another down, combined with those strikes, and, you know, they already had that clam ready. They're able to rush in, they get that big clam, and then they, you know, can get that small stream of little clams I mentioned. Although 3 go down on the side of Komena, you know, Kombucha still has to spend so much time painting up the middle of the map because, like, you know, Komena just, like, steamrolled it. Once they get in, that splash just has so much painting power that their map control can get really crazy if they're able to make a breakthrough, especially with those strikes. And here you can see that
despite the painting power of the splooch, it just seems like Kombucha is just not able to get the paint on the ground they need to get back out there. We see a Kraken coming in right here on the side of Komena, just taking damage, like I sort of mentioned in the beginning right here, sitting on this ball, just waiting for somebody else to get it. It is probably going to go in right there, allowing them to get up to 36, maybe that 34, 31. It is just the brush right here, just alone feeding in clams. But you know what? It's keeping the time going, and they're just surviving. Kombucha was unable to get them for a good few seconds, taking their points down all the way to 25 before they can push them fully out. With only 1:15 left on the clock, this is going to be hard pushed, but not impossible for Kombucha to bring this back.
Absolutely, Kombucha needs to get, like, they do have 2 big clams, so, like, literally nothing is impossible. They try to get a Booyah Bomb to set the push up. They do manage to get it off before that, those strikes eat them up, but that instant sort of, like, throwing paint out, that auto bomb, all that, definitely a major threat to the push. They managed to get up, although only 1 clam gets in so far. The S-Blast grabs the other, but can't quite rush forward. And with they're not able to retreat quickly either, with not enough paint to fall back on. So you see here, just, you know, Komena has so much space in the middle, and they have such a large lead, and there's only 30 seconds left, and they're not even, like, letting go of the gas pedal. It's not like Kombucha even has much time to regroup. With those strikes up, it's, you know, similar strikes to what they would be doing if they were pushing. They're not, and I think they're doing that because when they're pushing, they notice Kombucha takes a while to recover. Just because
great splashdown usage right there, able to get 2 and then corner the last person with the super clam carrier. I feel like that'll spell the end right here as they have their own super clam. A stamp is going to be a good deterrent, but only for how long? Because unfortunately, I don't think oh, there is a super clam on the map. That's right, they have their pity clam, so they will be able to make a push if they can get in there. How did they get that jump in there? Oh my gosh! I think that's all of their jumps are down, but I don't know if Kombucha is going to be able to get in there in time. They kill the forward advance. They need to move.
No.
Super
the clam takes too long. No. Oh, no. Oh my god, it's bad enough the super clam takes like a whole second.
And nobody picked up the clam. No, that is heartbreaking, but that will secure the game for Komena going up 1-0 in the set.
That truly is heartbreaking. You know, like, you know, clam gets picked up, 3 people go forward, they're like, you know, surely the clam will follow us just fine. And then the clam in the very back, watching as all 4 members of the other team have 0 cares in the world except for preventing this super jump. Because, oh my goodness gracious, is that the win con right now. And yeah, no, with that clam going down and, you know, nothing actually super jump into that sploosh that managed to get under basket, it was just, you know, like, Coleman's pushes were just so good in this game here. And I think
Yeah,
that was a big decider.
they had a lot of survivability, like mostly in due to the fact that they, due to how much paint they had, but also in their special usage. We saw it how like they would use Kraken to like just hold space on like a thing, like forcing people to either shoot at it or like just constantly be aware of the giant Cthulhu monster ready to just rip them in half, and focus less time on the clam carriers. As well as just the amount of paint that Kolina had on the ground. It didn't allow for Kombucha to get out there as quickly as they would have wanted. It just made it so Kolina had more time to respawn, get back in there, and then repaint and push Kombucha out. And at the end there, God, they had a perfect opportunity, but their clam carrier went down, and the rest of the team was too far in to turn back.
Absolutely, yeah. No, they showed some prowess in getting forward, winning some fights, especially early on in that set. But after that first score by Colmena, it just snowballed. That initial, I think the paint was just such a big thing, because every time you cut to a Kombucha member trying to retreat, you always see them looking behind themselves, an S-Blast having to paint behind itself to escape, slowing it down massively. Just paint determines so much of the pace of the game, and the fact that in-splash is doing some work out there is definitely making it just like very interesting for the game.
Yeah, the constant pressure of Colmena was very, very oppressive, and I'm very interested to see how it'll play right here on Undertow Spillway Rainmaker, because this is that you need to be present on this map, because like with how big it is, if you are not needed where you are needed, you are going to lose points very quickly. This is a very, very open map and will allow for very, very open play. Colmena sticks with a very short range for the most part, hyper-aggressive comp. We do see not too much switching on the side of Kombucha, though. Sticking with what they know and hoping it comes out a little bit better right here. Initial pop is going to go to Kombucha, allowing them to get some paint on the ground. I feel like they need to make sure they can match the paint output of Colmena right here. Right now, just trying to vie for picks, the map knowledge of where each team is, thanks to those points. This is a very useful, good pick right there on the side of Kombucha. Maybe about to get a second one. They do. This is very good. They need to use this good. Maybe a Booyah Bomb coming out here to get the person off of Plat. They need to try to move up right here. One person managed to sneak in the back, and it seemed to distract the rest of the team, allowing for Colmena to respawn quickly. They need to regroup and get that Rainmaker moving.
Absolutely. Whereas Colmena was definitely like the number one area controllers in that last match. Until just now, they were kind of struggling to get control of what they needed. However, they do manage to get that Rainmaker that they need, and with so much attention on from Kombucha being on that Rainmaker holder, that one next to them almost got them down entirely. As 3 go down on the side of Kombucha, Colmena gets a very easy check here. The Zipcaster is prepared up here, though, so, really anything could happen. Booyah Bomb comes out, though. That seems to be their solution to it, and they recognize they gotta get out of there. They're actually opting to go around the grate, which, can really help, except for when there are enemies on the other side of the bend, just straight up waiting for you.
Unfortunately, it's like, I turned the corner to safety. Fully loaded head, it just sprayed down. Kombucha right here trying to peek back in, get some paint on the ground. The S-Blast, it just flies swatting the crab away. Just get out of there. Unfortunately, their Zipcaster is gonna go down right here, making it a 3v4. The Kombucha just doing their best to just try to hold space, just waiting for that their teammate to respawn. Killer Whale coming out right there. There goes down the Rainmaker, and unfortunately, it's just their Splushamatic left. Just trying to do their best to shark and maybe just avoid detection right here, get a little splat and hold off for the rest of their team. They're doing a good job of it too. Unable to get the kill though. Dang it, I feel like they maybe should have gone for the aggressor on the side rather than the crab, because, short-range weapon attacking a crab you kind of gotta like shoot over it a bit. This will allow Komuna to just try to get back in there, back to their the first checkpoint and trying to get back, push that Rainmaker even faster. Though we're looking like we're seeing a similar push that happened last time.
Except instead of the push that happened last time, it is all but successful. They managed to get around the bend to do that sort of clear that they were looking. They literally like 1 frame off of dunking it. You know, get punished there. However, with some more pressure, they do manage to pop it again and just run it back, jump it over again. Komuna take game 2 of 3.
We were talking about dominant games earlier, but so far this has been really heavy-handed in the favor of Komuna.
Yo, not the match. I didn't even notice the matching emotes last time. That's crazy.
Heck yeah. Synergy, baby. That's what we'd love to see, not just in team comp, but in team drip and in team spirit. Again, the team comp of Komuna right here is just able to output so much pain so quickly. That was a very good shot by the S-Blast at the end there from Kombucha, able to put a stop to that push right here. Unfortunately, I feel like the Zipcast didn't do what they wanted them to do. I think they wanted to try to splat the crab from behind, you know, use that invincibility while Zipcast is moving, but unfortunately, either the crab moved or they slightly misplaced the zip. Either way, it allowed Komuna to secure their victory. And I mean, I feel like Kombucha did a much better job that game. They were able to like very clearly like hold mid a lot better, as well as I just feel like once again their biggest problem is hesitancy. You can't hesitate, and because of all the pain on the ground, it makes hesitation even worse because you have so much area to move through. You gotta get out there, man. You gotta play together, and you need to paint that turf.
Absolutely, especially with a splash on the other team. Every second you are not actively approaching that splash is a second that splash is either farming its next crab, farming its next strikes, or putting down 3 metric tons of paint in the process. And speaking of farming crab strikes and putting down 3 metric tons of paint, next up we have Robo Ramen Zone.
My mic didn't pick it up, but I just cheered very loudly because I freaking love. This is probably if there's anything that can test Rainmaker Humpback Pump Track for my favorite map mode in the game, it's this. And again, Tobias is Dynamo player, and I'm hoping that I see the lovely player on Kombucha realize it's ramen, it's zones. Let's pull out that Dynamo roller because it says so on their Sendo profile, and I want to see it. I'm a bit obsessive, folks. If you guys can tell, I like what I like, and I want to see it. And I do feel like it'll give Kombucha the paint that they need, because again, we were discussing how that's like their issue. Because again, they're playing well. They got good team synergy. They got good timing. They just need to get more paint on the ground, and maybe with the right switch up in team comp, or maybe just some adaptation after playing the first 2 games, we'll see it.
Yo,
gold arrow spray, let's go.
Yo, the one time Sploosh switches off the Sploosh to that Zap, which, you know, very good. I'd say better painter, even though it doesn't have like quite the same size of bullets. It has much further bullets. But as we breathe, and literally less sub 15-second Booyah Bomb being popped there on the side of Komuna. I mentioned this gold splash. Oh goodness! No way! Wait, genuinely 10-second Booyah Bomb?
Yes, it's consistent.
Yo, and 3, 2, 1. No, unfortunate.
Splash down. Same difference, supposedly. Right now, very early lead here from Komuna as they're just holding the zone down already 60 seconds, or excuse me, 60 points down, not even 60 seconds in the game. Counter Booyah Bomb, that's going to pick off 2 members right there, and the stamp coming in. It'll distract the members of Komuna enough to allow Kombucha to capture zone. Those strikes are going to try to neutralize it, but unfortunately, without any help, it will not do so, and Kombucha is able to hopefully just try to push in. They cannot afford to just play in area and poke because they're gonna get Booyah Bombed out of there. They're gonna get striked. They're gonna get crabbed. They need to move in. Incoming splashdown right there. That'll retake the zone for Komuna.
Absolutely no. Yeah, absolutely. Komuna is just they saw that it was zones, and they decided to just, you know, they saw zones. They saw they have the 2 game things they need for the set. And they're like, you know what? Let's put the absolutely insane on the sticks, like painting wise, in Splash. Let's take Arnott with Splashdown, you know, for very quick caps. And let's take a Gold Spray. Why not? Put them all on a zone, see what happens. They did manage to sort of have that very early zone, but they sort of have a bit of trouble getting back in. And as I'm trying to complete that thought, they successfully get back in. The Blaster and the Splash chasing down this S-Blast on the side as Colmena try to sort of scale up a little bit, and they're not quite able to defend that zone as it flips back in Kombucha's favor. Although, you know, there will always be another Booyah Bomb from this Gold Spray.
Kombucha's doing a good job of painting it. Like this is much better than they have been doing so far. They're doing a good job of just like using their specials to like properly disrupt and then pick off the members of Colmena right here as the zone stays in their control. They only need to hold it for a few more points in order to take lead. That with a quickly on that slash down, that unfortunately with the playing with that Booyah bomb, it will allow Colmena to get the zone. Unfortunate miss on the jump right there from the S-Blast player, but they'll be able to jump back out and hopefully get back in there. Already another Booyah bomb coming in right here. Gold Spray. I can't wait to see the results screen and see how many Booyah bombs there were.
I gotta see that scoreboard.
Only 40 points left on the side of Colmena. That Booyah bomb, unfortunately, not doing much in that stamp, getting picked off right here. Kombucha needs to do together as many explosions as possible. Will probably do it right there as they retake zone.
Absolutely. Zone being handed back and forth so wildly means that Kombucha just needs to have a period of time where they, like, you know, have a super tight grip on it. Because Colmena had, you know, such a grip early game, but, you know, with the specials that Colmena is packing, it seems like nigh impossible for Kombucha to keep a grip on it for too long. Though, as I say that, they've worked through their penalty, and the enemy specials are only ever neutralizing, never taking. Kombucha managed to take the lead in what is, you know, previously a very dominant set from Colmena. Colmena takes the zone, but they immediately go 3 down, and this, you know, doing an absolutely great job, you know, controlling, regulating space. Kombucha has the zone again.
That was one of the best crab usages I have seen on this map. Colmena was able to take back the zone, but the crab was able to see the bunch together players and punish them immediately, allowing Kombucha to just maintain control. If Colmena is able to push back right here, and with 30 seconds left on the clock, they need to hold because they got some points to work through. It's not too much, but Kombucha needs to make sure they don't get picked off right here. They have to play smart like they have been the entire game so far. They need to punish that S-Blast, but unfortunately that splashdown is going to get 2 right there! And with 20 seconds left on the clock and only a few penalty points left, it seems like Colmena is going to take back lead. What do you... I'm holding my breath here.
Yeah, no, Colmena taking back the lead, and they're pushing up. They're not letting them breathe. They didn't even let the Booyah bomb off. That push up at the end was absolutely necessary for keeping, for just like stopping them from flipping it right back and starting an overtime thing. Colmena takes the whole set 3-0. I think making the third 3-0 victory. No, because there was that one with the DC in the middle. You're right. But still, very dominant games today. And yay, fist bump!
Yeah, very dominant games out here today, but that'll be the end of our little groups right now. 3 amazing sets, even if they were seemingly very heavy-handed sets. All of these teams played amazing, and I loved how they were able to adapt to each other, because that, I mean, hey, the adaptation, like, in and, like, between games in Splatoon is one of the best things we see, and I want to shout out Kombucha for their ability to adapt right there at the end of that set, because it really did almost allow them to get the win right there. We are now going to be going to a quick little break before we get into the rest of bracket. My good buddy AC, where can the lovely people watching our stream find you?
You can usually find me over on Twitter or Blue Sky, that ACNH kid and that AC kid, I believe, respectively. Posting about whatever on earth Team Cherry's up to these days. And where can the people find you?
It's real, my friend. It's real. Finally, it's real. We're not crazy anymore. Anyways, you can also find me on Blue Sky and Twitter. I just go by JolteonJack at bluesky.social, or I believe just JolteonJack over on JolteonJack22 over on Twitter. I'm in it. I'm loving my time here in the commentating community, and I'm also an aspiring voice actor, so keep your eyes peeled for any stuff I may post regarding that. But thank you very much, folks. You guys have been absolutely lovely, and please don't go anywhere because you got some more amazing games coming.
Oh Dude, that internet these days is so dope. Hey man, what's up? Hey, dude, that internet these days is so dope, man. School sucks, dude. You can just go on the stinging internet, 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 on the stinging internet. Just go on the stinging internet. Hey man, what's up? Just go on the stinging internet. Just go on the stinging internet. Hey, do that internet. Internet.
Welcome one, welcome all. We are here with the continuation of FTIU week number 85. My name is Rocket, and joining me is the one and only Mr. Cheesetiger. And kicking things off, we'll be taking a look at our very first round, round one between Saturday Night Speedle versus Starboard.
I'm excited to see these matches here. Looking at Saturday Night Speedle specifically, they've gotten third and second and fourth in a lot of our more recent From the Ink Up tournaments. It is possible here that they break that curse and get first.
Yeah, absolutely. And with these two teams kind of kicking it into high gear now, gold bracket being this top bracket, it is do or die time. Now is your time to kind of show up and kind of take this tournament into your own hands. Try to maybe build up a little bit more of that momentum as you move towards the bracket. But like I just mentioned, no mistakes can be made, no major ones at least, as we start and take a look at our map pool. We will be starting off on Clan Blitz Inkblot.
Clan Blitz Inkbot is very fun to play on, at least in my opinion. One of the better clan maps. Gives a lot of leeway for some very strong pushes. I wasn't able to see much of Speedle's previous games, but Starboard, I at least in the past saw, was pretty good at taking and holding. Do you think they'll be able to keep that here?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, like you mentioned, it's kind of one of those more favorable maps. It is a very, very difficult map to push through if you do not have that coordinated push. As the nature of Clan Blitz, I mean, teams really need to be on the same page. They really need to be moving in at the same time with a similar wave, and kind of taking a look at what Starboard could potentially be running. I kind of know some of their players personally. Mitchie is a blaster player as well, really being able to kind of poke under those ledges, kind of take advantage of that space that a map, that Inkblot would allow them to do.
Yeah, I can definitely find some spots where they'd be able to find a lot of success there. A lot of ledges for them to take advantage of, a lot of corners to angle around, a lot of spots to get good directs with. Looking at the other weapons, what do we see? What are we going to predict to see from Saturday Night Speedle?
I mean, at least on the side of Saturday Night Speedo, I believe Avo Otter is a Brella player as well. And if I will want to manifest anything, I would want to manifest a Tenebrella, and I've seen it several times before. With Tenebrella teams on this map, just having the existence of it to push up that ramp area just creates so much pressure.
Yeah, I'd agree. It helps a lot. I love seeing it every time. I hope I see it here as well. Another thing I hope I see especially is a heavy edit. My main, gotta root for any team that's playing that. It looks like there is one on Saturday Night Speedle, looking like it might be Avery here, but of course they have a couple other weapons picked. Could be anything.
Yeah, absolutely. And to just kind of take a look at how these teams got here, kind of a little bit of their road to get here. Saturday Night Speedo looking very, very promising, not dropping a single map, winning their entire group, all cleanly 3-0 victories. On the other side, Starboard had a little couple 2-1s here and there, but they were against some very strong teams like Kombucha and Flower Egg Panko, who are a regular. So if that is how they were entering and exiting groups, I'm sure this is going to be a more heavyweight matchup than we might be anticipating for a round 1 matchup.
Yeah, this one's definitely going to be exciting to see. You did mention they had a couple 2-1s, but that doesn't mean they lost those sets. They still had clean victories in each of those, which means these are going to be some pretty tough opponents for each other.
Yeah, absolutely. And right on your screen, they're just counting down the final seconds before we jump straight into things, kind of just being able to get into the eyes of our players here, just trying to see what their identities will be shown. And without much further ado, we will see what we'll be running with.
Let's see. We do end up seeing the tent there.
Yes, the
And ahead on the other side, something good for the both of us.
Yeah, absolutely. And you do see Shades running that Stamper as well. The Booyah Stamper, to be more specific, can be something really, really good for Starboard to kind of push up on a pawn as well. A lot of weapons that really align themselves in trying to just take that positional area, as well as that 96 deco for maybe some potential Kraken cheese, maybe trying to draw some attention away, but just trying to get through the initial scums here. You do see a little bit of lag. We do apologize for that. And that will be a very quick disconnect, so it does look like we will be replaying that one really quickly. But I like the comps that we were seeing here, but something to specifically draw your eye on is Saturday Night Speedo's running that Milk Lux.
Yeah, the new third kits, newer, I should say, a couple months, but these newer kits, I wasn't expecting to see as much use, especially from the new Stamper, given how great that original Stamper kit was. But I've been seeing a lot of use for it, and now I'm very excited to keep seeing that.
Yeah, and it's just now looking at it more for Saturday Night Speedo's comp, you have that Lux being the main painter. You have really the only other one being the Wiper, so you really have to balance out utilizing that to give your weapons more space. This is the Tenebrella comp, of course, so you will have to make sure it has some supporting space so that Tenebrella can kind of move up in kind. But yes, I'm going to keep calling it the Milk Lux. Sorry, Hammy.
You can keep reminding me, I'll keep calling it that as well. I won't be apologizing, but that's a great name. I definitely agree with the points with the tent, though. You're going to need to be supporting that to get it out of space, because it can hold pretty well with just that Brella. It's not going to go down without a fight, but also it can't really push up without that support from the people around it.
Yeah, absolutely. But hopefully we'll be getting a quick redo here. You saw great openings from both sides, really just trying to feel out each other. But again, I will have to highlight on the side of Saturday Night Speedo, you will have to make sure that Tent and Wiper kind of have the space to really operate, because outside of that, you see you have the 96, the new 96 for that cooler as your backline, so you don't have some more painting like you would have on an edit or a pen. So it's going to be really, really reliant on that Lux to kind of stay alive, and if not, the balanced comp of Starboard will be able to take advantage of that. But here we go again, a redo of Game 1.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to see how these different cooler weapons both manage their fighting potential and their cooler potential. The Headit in that last game getting a cooler, I believe, exactly 17 seconds in, whereas the 96 Gal chose to fight instead. Will they be staying back getting a cooler here, or will they be taking a quick pick before getting one themselves? Only time will tell.
Yeah, but both teams in terms of their specials very balanced, be a lot of different specials to kind of disorientate, and that's what you really want. You want to be able to cycle your specials as well as that is a very underrated factor of this game, to just keep pushes going. And if there is any mode where you need to get pushes going, it is Clam Blitz. Already though, you see Starboard getting a 2-player down situation with Shades already up so aggressively here on the play area, and a Booyah Bomb to boot. It does look like Starboard will be getting that first advantage state.
Yeah, Saturday Night Speedle started really strong by taking a pretty aggressive push, but ended up not giving them any dividends, as our Kraken immediately gets a double in the back and is controlling bats pretty heavily before dropping out. They do end up breaking the barrier. Let's see how many points they get.
Yeah, I mean, Vulcan with that double on Kraken being able to kind of lead Starboard to get some more space, get some more clams on the board, but will they be able to break through that 60-point threshold? You have Bumblebee on this little cheeky flank, managing to get a couple more in before they are forced out. That's an overall solid push, but you aren't under that 60-point threshold yet, as Saturday Night Speedo could have a great opportunity to counterattack if they do so in quick succession. With that Pity now moving up, you do have the 10 Umbrella on that left side trying to create some space. You do have to worry about this Stamper though. Shades so aggressive, just trying to take the fight straight to Saturday Night Speedo. Won't quite find the value there, but attention was drawn.
Yeah, they do a lot of attention. That seems like something that they are especially very good at here. They make a lot of pushes up, and they just don't go down, attacking a lot of weapons that could pretty simply try to get a quick pick from them, and they turn it into a lot of pressure, a lot of momentum, and sometimes a couple free picks for them. They're almost
Absolutely.
at the enemy base as well with a power clam. It's within 2 power clams, so it's still definitely within anyone's game. One jumping out, though, as they do get a pick, it's still 3v3 there. That tent going forward, are they going to be getting a jump there? No, they're just running in. 3 down.
The hammer to boot and the wipe out. Yeah,
Wow.
really nicely done. Just moving in with all those specials. You have Avok Otter moving in with their Zuka, and the hammer coming in from the Wiper Sauce, just in conjunction. I mentioned it at the beginning of this game. You want to be able to cycle your specials, and we kind of saw it get that use. And with that push, they were able to cause a wipeout scenario, getting it down to 41 before they are wiped out on their own. Very impressive, and something that Starboard will kind of have to replicate as well. Vulcan with their Kraken, we saw how well it worked in that first push. Can we see a repeat of history? We'll just have to wait and see.
They do have both the clan. No, they just do the clan, but they still do have that Kraken. They're running forward and popping it themselves, chasing one person who jumps out instead of getting picked. Very good decision on their end, but they're trying to find some more space. Vulcan does end up getting a pick with their Kraken, running forward and getting a second without. They're already right by the opposing barrier as they get one more push in. It seems like they're going fast, going strong. One more power claim right there as they throw it in. Getting the lead, those 3 go down as a result. That push is likely going to stop. Will they control mid? Let's see.
Yeah, it does look like Vulcan just trying to see if they can slow the bleeding a little bit, but Starboard was able to punch right back with their own quick pushes of their own. It's gonna be only a matter of time, though, before one of these teams is unable to kind of break through this stalemate. You have Saturday Night Speedo losing 2 players in mid. It does look like Starboard might be able to start getting a little bit of advantage here with that crab being popped as well, just creating so much space. Avery will get the better of Party in that mid control just to try to hold on to it for Saturday Night Speedo, but it is heavily contested in mid here. Both teams just trying to feel each other out, trying to trade these specials, and you have Sauce maybe trying to break the stalemate on this left side with a pick onto Vulcan, and looking for more with this hammer, finds a second and opening the door right open for Saturday Night Speedo to get in a next push.
Yeah, they immediately get another push. With 6 clans left, they go up to Vast as they go up. Are they going to get lead? They end up getting there. They have one more clan, so it seems like they might not be going up. Will they be getting any more in? They get a couple. Seems like it's been very back and forth, especially with some people finding out how to get around others, but some more just managing to get straight by.
Yes, and the back and forward punching that we saw there eventually goes into Saturday Night Speedo's way. The synergy of all of their specials in conjunction with each other, it worked once and it worked twice, and that's all it really took. The hammer from Sauce and the Zuka to follow up just was really the winning formula for Saturday Night Speedo to move in. You saw Sauce opening the door, opening the way for the rest of Saturday Night Speedo to move in, and you saw, I mentioned it before the beginning of this game too, with the 10 Umbrella on Saturday Night Speedo, just being able to control that ramp area is such a huge advantage, such a drain on the resources of Starboard to try to deal with it, that it really opens the door for other players, and we kind of saw it spell exactly like that.
Yeah, they need to know how to deal with that 10 if they want to find any success here. They did seem to end up finding some success with it, at least towards the end, not necessarily the very end, but they started throwing out that wall that stopped it pretty much right in its tracks. Seems like the hammer, though, found a little bit of a better solution towards that. If they kill the people trying to stop the hammer, not the hammer. If they kill the people trying to stop the tent's not getting stopped.
Yeah, absolutely. And we'll be moving now to game 2. Already backs against the wall. This is best of 3. So Starboard, if they lose this one, they are eliminated. Saturday Night Speed'll just have to take this one. It is Hagglefish Market Tower.
One of my favorite tower maps. I love being on the canopy, especially a lot, but I also love finding all those different ways to go around. I'm wondering which one will take a little bit more advantage there. I'm assuming that their tent's going to have a fun time.
Yeah, I mean, like I mentioned, this game 1, we saw how just of a attention grabber it was in game 2. Very similar story here. Although I will mention the comp that was ran by Saturday Night Speedo did tend to favor a map such as Inkblot Clams, being able to kind of take advantage of the space, really being able to kind of work it. Game 2, with a map such as Hagglefish Market, I see those advantages start to kind of dissipate and be less significant, at least compared to a more balanced comp that Starboard was running. You had Shades with that stamper, the sticker stamper with the Booyah Bomb can provide a very good utility for having that GG special if Starboard are able to get a lead and to try to maintain it through the rest of the game.
They do end up changing around. It seems like they recognize that there was an inherent disadvantage in that specific weapon, and they chose to swap at least a little bit. Different Grella and a different cooler weapon on the other side alongside the new Mini.
Yeah, a lot of changes here from both sides. Starboard, I do like the adaptation, having that 2 midline whiffs, keeping Shades on that stamper, but going with the CRB, Blaster, and Tower just go together like peanut butter and jelly. You have that new Mini as well to provide some more painting power, but off rip, we have Saturday Night Speedo kind of picking up back where they left off in that game 1 to take that early push.
Yeah, 3 immediately go down on Starboard's side as some quick picks happen. They do end up stopping the jet, but is it enough? Checkpoint 1 is almost done as they're struggling to recover. Hammer going up, doesn't get the pick. Hitbox just barely not big enough there as the pen stays healthy.
Yes, but Izuka from behind by Party finds 3, I believe, and now so much space being recollected by Starboard, being able to prevent that second checkpoint pop. Such a very, very important checkpoint to kind of hold on to, because it is the choke point of all choke points on this map. And you see Mitchie moving in with that Kraken as well to create space. 2 down already on the side of Saturday Night Speedo, and it does look like they'll have a little bit of an easier time trying to get through this first checkpoint. But I will have to mention just the amount of specials, the difference of specials that Starboard are bringing definitely works well for this map.
Yeah, the specials they're bringing are definitely helping them out here. We've seen a lot of examples of that already in this game, and I'm expecting it to continue as it keeps going. Starboard struggling to just get out of mid. 2 go down on their side, but 1 goes down from Saturday Night Speedle. Hammer coming in, not getting a pick. Hitbox once again, just not big enough. Seems like they might have to struggle to get out there, and they do.
Yes, and the thing I want to completely just key in on when I mentioned the better specials, not only do you have Shades with that GG special, but you have that Kraken as well. A lot of weapons that really will combo off of each other well, specifically the midline Shades. We'll get that first blood and another Keely onto the edit of Saturday Night Speedo. That cooler will be delayed, and with the Booyah Bomb being popped as well, we'll find a third, a great opening for Starboard to try to get this lead back, trying to continue this push. The pen being contested on mid will kind of slow it down, but Party jumps right back on it for Starboard to slowly but surely move it up this side, just at the very least trying to get this checkpoint, with Izuka finding 1. So much space being created just based off of these individual plays, and that's kind of what Starboard's comp will have to rely on.
Yeah, it seems like Starboard's comp has been especially successful when it comes to taking those 1v1s. They're managing that really well already at checkpoint 2, securing themselves a couple more points to stay in the lead. That Stamper unfortunately going down as they face that 1v2. 3 are down with a Mini left. Never mind, Commentator Strikes once again.
Yes, paint being recollected in Serenade Speedo, just trying to recollect some space. You have Avocado on this right side with this Brella, just trying to create and draw attention, similarly to what they did with the Tenebrella in that previous game, but this time they will have the jetpack to kind of utilize it. Shades, yet again, being the spear front of Starboard, does get taken out, and this is now a two-player advantage for Serenade Speedo. Just try to move in the jetpack being popped as well. We'll find Mitchie just trying to see if they can create some space with their own specials is Serenade Speedo, and it does look like they will start to develop some momentum.
Yeah, Wiper in the front there with another hammer throw. Something I've noticed with this Wiper is that they're really good at taking very calculated risks. They can get those picks that they need and then escape right as they need to. They're still alive. They've been alive, I think, longer than anyone else here so far. Still on that tower as another one jumps out. They're going forward, making sure that pen can't get them, but still being pressured by that blaster. They might be a little bit stuck there.
Yeah, Sauce is trying to stay alive, maybe try to farm a hammer. Is taken out on that left side, and with 2 players down, that does spell the end for Serenade Speedo's push. Mitchie just trying to poke at this edit before they can pop cooler does go down, but at the most important part about this is Starboard still has that very, very slim lead, but like I mentioned, it is a very, very slim 3.1, so all it takes is one push, one team fight going in their way, and it could spell disaster, and we do see it kind of play out here. Serenade Speedo with a 3-player down situation on the side of Starboard, looking to range forward, but the tower is still very contested on this elbow area.
That tower is still definitely contested, but will they get on there? They do get just enough to take the lead 35 to 36. That checkpoint is not going to be passed, though, as a lot go down from Saturday Night Speedo. Seems like Starboard is going to try to make one bigger push here. Wiper, a little bit in the back. They're a little bit sharking. I don't know if they know where the Wiper is. That Autobomb might be stung them out a little bit, and the bombs are definitely pushing them back. But they have a hammer ready to go in at a moment's notice.
Yes, and Mitchie with this Kraken and Booyah Bomb already invested by Starboard. That's 2, now 3 specials already invested on the side of Starboard here. Just left to the Zuka with Party having that to really push through this very, very difficult choke point. Members just desperately jumping onto it. Party trying to use the Zuka for any value, but unfortunately for Starboard, Serenade Speedo will close that out in a nail-biter push with under a minute to go. They were able to take a very slim lead, and with that, end the set 2-0.
Yeah, they got what they needed, and they kept it until they didn't need it anymore. They got exactly what they needed, no more, no less. 35 to 36, and then they just kept on pushing. Especially this Wiper, I'd mentioned them in the past, but their constant pressure, near constant hammers, horizontal and vertical flicks, just always managing to get them some distance, get them some space, get them some paint, and of course get them some pressure.
Yeah, and you saw on that left side, not only did we see that Wiper move in and just create so much attention throwing their way with Sauce doing that, Avocado on that jetpack was able to create that pressure alongside the Wiper to draw so much resources, so much attention away from the tower that allowed Serenade Speedo to take that lead in the first place. So really nicely done from them. Just a common theme of just appearing and taking all the attention and then hitting from a different side, and just altogether a collaborative effort to push in together.
Yeah, setting up a target on one side and then approaching from the other seemed to really help them in both games, as they took some pretty clean victories.
Yes, but with that, we'll be taking a very momentary break. Saturday Night Speedo will move on to face our number 1 seed. Sora is banned, but we will be looking at the other side of semifinals, where Magic 8 Ball is waiting for their opponent between Fickle Fishies and Pickup 101. So we'll be right back for semifinals of FTIU Week 85. Welcome back to FTIU Week 85, still here, and we are in semifinals now with Fickle Fishies being the team to move on to semifinals, getting the better of Pickup 101, but fighting Pickups is not gonna be the end. That's not gonna be the end of them facing Pickups, as they'll be facing another one, Magic 8 Ball, who have a lot of familiar faces on them. You have Mouse on the side of Magic 8 Ball, it was the captain of Eternal Bloom, and Breaks, who is a constant subber for a lot of FTIU teams, so some very familiar faces there. But at least speaking a little bit to Fickle Fishy's history, they really, really want to take home one of these FTIU crowns, because they have gotten second 3 times, and hopefully this could be the time they break through.
Yeah, it seems they have the curse of second place. They might be able to break it here, but of course the first thing they need to do to get past second place is to get past fourth place. And to do that, they'll need to face up against Magic 8 Ball. From what I've been seeing, a lot of the Magic 8 Ball teams, this might be some of their first experience in gold bracket, but that doesn't mean it's going to be the end right away. They've proven they can get here all the way into semifinals, and it is very likely we'll be seeing some pretty good matches here.
Yes, key thing to mention about semifinals, we are in best of 5 territory now. For our set, we will be having a Rainmaker sandwich, game 1 being Rainmaker, game 5 being Rainmaker, with our game 1 being on Museum.
Definitely one of the Rainmaker maps of all time, not personally my favorite, but I love a couple of those aspects. I'm always hyped for the gamer jump to get to that first checkpoint for starters.
Yeah, absolutely. And there's also that right side before being able to kind of camp the enemy spinner, being able to kind of poke away. You have weapons such as buckets, such as rollers, such as blasters, kind of making their territory on that side, being able to keep enemies at bay. But with this map being on Rainmaker, very, very volatile mode, I, for one, would know. It is very, very easy to maybe sneak by a Rainmaker if you're not careful as well. So both teams will have to emphasize having at least a couple players standing in front of the Rainmaker's path, maybe just throw some projectiles, some bombs here or there, just to kind of slow down that progress, because very, very easy to lose track of the Rainmaker and also lose the Rainmaker.
Yeah, they're definitely going to be very vigilant when it comes to keeping an eye on those and keeping at least 1 or 2 players on those. There's always a couple different ways they can go. No telling what they do next. And especially some, at least in my opinion, funnier but incredible routes to take, especially on those top greats, for example.
Yeah, I mean, there is at least for Clan Blitz on this map, there is the theme of people don't look up. And that is a very good spot for that, but I mean, same would apply for Rainmaker. Just have someone hiding up there, just being able to rain ink from above, just creating that height advantage and causing yet again another place just for people to look at and look away and draw fire away from the Rainmaker, which is always a important factor to kind of stress here. But with both these teams now in semifinals, still do or die time, as Magic 8 Ball have been on a little bit of a Cinderella run, obviously being the lowest seed remaining, not being in the top 4 seeded, being our 14th seed, as a matter of fact.
Yeah, that must have involved a lot of upsets, but they've made it this far. We can see if they have that power to keep going.
Absolutely, and you see there, we're ticking down our final 15 seconds before both these teams kind of ready up here, but I mean, you already said that edit is a weapon you kind of want to see here. There are a lot of other weapons, such as wall string, that are just so powerful on this map, but at least in particular, I see on Magic 8 Ball does have a sword player, so we'll have to keep an eye on that. Maybe we could see a decav here, but we will see them going with the wiper nonetheless, and I do see a paintbrush and a couple of interesting weapon choices on both sides.
Yeah, a lot of interesting choices on both sides, each having a cooler weapon, but definitely each with their own different cooler weapon. One zap, one with edit. One pick immediately for Magic 8 Ball, as Fickle Fishes seems to be waiting for just the right moment to strike. They thought that was it, but it might not have been. I might have been wrong. They did get a trade.
Yes, EK finding 1 there, but something to note as well, both sides running a weapon with Ninja Squid, and both those weapons were down. The Dapples on the side of Magic 8 Ball is playing a little bit more of a sharking roll with that Ninja Squid, and EK, who we just saw right there, was taking that right drop with no ink just to see if they can be a little bit sneaky with it. But this Stamper, the Stamp Dodo moving in, trying to create all this space, does allow Magic 8 Ball to move in, but Ficklefishy's right back there with the recovery.
Yeah, they managed to stop the bleeding well enough to keep that Rainmaker from going too far. A very well-placed bomb, almost immediately splatting the rain as it was picked up. Almost about to reset. It looks like they're not going to be trying to collect it anytime soon. I'm immediately proven wrong. They do get that rain and possibly that next jump. No, that Wiper does manage to get away.
Yeah, and a little bit of what I was talking about before this game started. Sometimes you just kind of take that Rainmaker and go, and that's what we saw right there. Snail was not ready for anybody on the side of Magic 8 Ball to get those extra points, and they could matter on the down run, but you do see Ficklefishy with a quick counterattack, EK creating so much space with this Kraken being the attention grabber, already allowing Ficklefishy to take that lead right back in one fell swoop. We'll find the pick onto breaks as well, and with a 1-point lead, all it took was about 20 or 30 seconds for Ficklefishy to make this one a very contested game.
Yeah, 2 immediately went down on both sides, but one's getting jumps in, and it's the closer to the other's spawn, so that fight's immediately picking back up. No picks yet, but specials being built, fights being taken, fights being won currently by Ficklefishy as another goes in, getting just the rain as they go down themselves. 2 down, 3 down.
Yes, and Ficklefishies, after that initial retake, now are looking very, very strong, just putting full pedal to the metal, taking all this space in such a quick time. This gal managing to find one, yet again, 2 players down in total for Ficklefishy, for the side of Magic 8 Ball, as EK trying to leave the forefront will allow Ficklefishy to get a couple more points, but with that 3 down situation, Magic 8 Ball get a little bit more space to breathe, but now with half the game to go, they have to repeat what they did in that beginning push, really recreate some of that Magic Dodo, trying to be that spear front, but does go down in mid here.
Yeah, they saw success earlier in the match. We'll just have to see if they can take what they got there and continue it. They're managing to get some distractions in, but that does lead to them getting picked a little bit. Ficklefishy is going 2 down. One more trade means 3 down. 3v1 as they are getting their respawns. Rainmaker on top of the spinner. Will they be staying? They're seemingly just going to be around there for now. 2 go down again on Ficklefishies as they get that little push forward. Do they get the lead? They do! And the quick keep ticking down.
Yes, just inching closer and closer. Breaks that Rainmaker carrier, does make it now a Magic 8 Ball lead. Ball is in the court of Ficklefishies if they want to make this one a victory here. Mouse moving up with his Paintbrush, trying to see if they can get anything going. Does bump into one. Will at least settle for that trade, but Ficklefishies now allowing this Rainmaker to reset, trying to reset their mindset, moving back into mid. They will have to, yet again, create so much space. We saw how well they were able to do it in a short amount of time, but can they repeat some of that success? Dodo is making it so difficult, just constantly rushing this ramp area.
Yeah, they are applying near constant pressure that they just need to figure out how to work through if they want to get any more points in this game. EK going forward, almost getting that Kraken pop off, unfortunately dying right before that invulnerability started. Rain is still popped. It's not going to be reset because it's in the middle, so it really could be picked up by anyone, but it seems like Magic 8 Ball has control of mid, at least for now, so they're likely going to be the one, if anyone, that they can win.
His breaks nicely done to avoid EK, but eventually will go down to them. 3 players down on the side of Magic 8 Ball, so this is the opportunity that Ficklefishies were looking for. Snail with that Rainmaker is forced down. The Reef Slider coming in from the Dapples will stall that push out. More importantly, this Rainmaker is left in a very difficult spot, but Ficklefishies managed to pull off the wipeout here. 25 seconds. They need to go now. They need to get this space and at least get onto Spinner with this advantage that they have. 1 player down on both sides here, but this is the scary part of Rainmaker overtime. All it takes is 1 stray bomb, a couple stray shots, and that is game for you. 10 seconds left. Dodo saving this hammer. Cooler is popped as well for Magic 8 Ball. That Rainmaker is taken out. 2 fall in total now. 3 with Dodo getting that 3rd. It does look like Ficklefishies will get wiped out and Magic 8 Ball rallied to take game 1.
Very good performance from both sides, but I think that end there could have gone either way. A set of 4 picks led to, unfortunately, 4 failed squid rolls to get that rain, delaying it just enough for the other team to get back and secure what they needed at the end there.
And sometimes all it takes is for you to get more successful pushes than the other team. We saw Magic 8 Ball do it twice. Fickle Fishies, while yes, their first attack, they were able to counterattack with much aggression. They weren't able to take advantage of that wipeout that they were able to inflict on the side of Magic 8 Ball. You saw Fickle Fishies just trying to slowly but surely move forward, but the time and the opportunities were kind of shut on them by the specials of Magic 8 Ball, specifically with that Reef Slider going in with the Dapples. It left the Rainmaker in a very uncomfortable situation.
Yeah, it seems like if there's one thing that they do super well, it's leaving the other side in a very difficult situation. Just keeping them uncomfortable seems to be their specialty there.
Yeah,
as our second game, we go to Umami Ruins Spot Zones. What do you think will benefit each team here?
it's going to be a very contested map mode. Now, zones in general tend to see a lot more back and forth in terms of moments where there will just be both teams just painting desperately over the zones, basically just playing turf war just on the zones. But with double zone maps in particular, Umami, I think, being the most famous one, it is going to be a tough tug and war between both sides. Just not only trying to balance how many players are on each side, how many you want to invest into holding your own zone, but taking the other zone. Trying to find that balance and chemistry in this game, you just gotta have to know it. You have to know where your teammates are and who you need to help. And let's see how these two teams will kind of find that balance.
Let's see if there's any big changes. Is that an undercover Brilla from one side here? Looks like it is. Personally, big fan of this change, but we'll see if they can have it pull off here.
Yeah, a weapon you definitely don't see often, but I do see their gear. They are running true special up, so trying to really put a lot of eggs into the Reslider basket alongside that Dapples that they're still keeping. Magic 8 Ball will try to take the fight straight towards Fickle Fishies, as their comp should. You have 3 weapons there just looking for fights, but off rip, Fickle Fishies able to get control of that zone and trying to contest well as Mouseless tries to be this annoying thread in the side of them.
Yeah, not a lot of picks so far, but just a lot of paint, a lot of specials, a lot of pressure from everywhere. They know that they need to just take both zones, take mid, move forward, and it seems they're doing that pretty well. They are 1 down. They're letting Fickle Fishes just approach a little bit, but just enough to where they can stay safe at their own angles.
Yeah, both these comps really stress that fighting ability, specifically on the side of Magic 8 Ball. You do have 3 weapons, like I mentioned, that want to get into your face, and we kind of see it right here. Breaks being the only weapon that isn't really explicitly looking for fights, but trying to support fights where necessary. You have Dodo going in with the hammer. You saw how well they were able to create so much space, so much presence on Museum, and we're seeing it repeat here, just camping under these ledges, trying to create a lockout situation, and Fickle Fishies running out of time to make this one competitive here. They need to make this retake count if they don't want to go down.
Yeah, it seems like they are slowly approaching as that timer just keeps on ticking down. They do end up getting 1 zone out of control, at least for now, with that rush getting 1 quick pick, another quick pick leading from it, and that penalty is applied. Even if they don't keep it here, that's 55 more points for Magic 8 Ball.
It's another factor of it as well is with Magic 8 Ball's comp having double Reef and Hammer. Those are some specials that you really need to take advantage of and move in with their value, because they don't get explicit guaranteed value in the form of a pick or creating space. They will create a bit of space, but can be easily punished. You have the Galley Layden getting 2 on that right side, though, which buys a lot of opportunity and time for Fickle Fishies to make this one competitive. However, you see 2 members of Magic 8 Ball have found their way into the backline, causing a delayed wipeout situation, and right there, Magic 8 Ball bounced right back despite being 2 down on the retake.
Yeah, speaking of easily punished, it seems like 1 or 2 of them just found those right angles to get in and punish the other side, taking the zone right back, taking down their own penalty counter and adding 42 to Fickle Fishes here. Zone has been lost, but people are still around, fights are still happening. 1 pick goes down on Magic 8 Ball, 2 go down, and Fickle Fishes seems to be just about to have full control.
Yeah, but Layden being the spearhead of Fickle Fishies, managing to find a nice couple picks, helping assist in the other ones as well. And this is what you want from your frontline aggressive shooter with cooler as well. They will be looking to take these fights, trying to extend this lead. Finds another one, and they are just going in. They find 2 in total, which caused a 3 players down situation. Fickle Fishies have awoken just thanks to this Gal play being the spearhead of their pushes. Penalty is no longer a factor here as Magic 8-Ball looking for this retake as they built up 2 specials.
Yeah, this Gal just keeps on shooting, keeps on hitting. They are not taking any prisoners here. They get closer and closer, and even ending out with a trade, 28-27. Will they have the zone for just long enough to get 2 more points? Getting 1 more pick, possibly getting that jump as well. But they're coming in on the left side. It looks like it might just be a little over.
The jump got the better of the Octobrush on that left side, so it does look like the zone still being heavily contested. The Fickle Fishies, at least for a brief second, able to get control of both zones, will take that lead. Minute remaining. If Magic 8-Ball want to stay in this, they need to get control of that zone. The Reef Slider will secure it, but they will get placed in a very difficult situation here as 2 players on the side of Magic 8-Ball, now 3 go down. A tough situation now that is dealt to Magic 8-Ball. You need to have the picks go your way, and first, you need to deal with EK on this Octobrush, who does get the better of Dodo.
Yeah, whether it's the Octobrush or the 52 Gal here, you're going to need to focus one and make sure they go down. That Gal, for this specific push, took mid a little bit unpunished, a little bit too unpunished, and for that, they got 2 immediate picks on Magic 8-Ball on that right. They're still shooting here, approaching one going on that line to the left. Will they get pressure? No, they just get picked as that timer keeps going down. 16 seconds left, but only 13 points.
Yes, time ticking down, desperation setting in. Mouse moving in with that Reef Slider will create so much space with the insta-cap on the zone, but will there be enough paint here? Almost being cast back by Fickle Fishies. They need to get overtime if they want to secure this one, but just seconds too late. Magic 8-Ball are unable to keep that one alive as Fickle Fishies bounces right back with now the score being 1-1.
Guaranteeing game 4, they just knew their ways in, and they knew how to keep those ways accessible to them. Definitely a lot of respect for that.
Absolutely, and can we harp on Layden even more? We see here the individual Gal play to find 2, helping with the assist on the jump as well. But not only after being able to clean up those fights, they move straight up that elbow area and still were able to take so much space, so much picks going into their favor that allowed Fickle Fishies to make that penalty disappear right before their eyes. Yeah, you see here, moving in with that Gal, they caused that 3-player down situation, and that's exactly what you want from your captain, just leading by example, and Fickle Fishies looking alive now.
Yeah, that pressure really helping them out. There were a lot of moments where it was like, oh, they have to be done now. There's no one else to kill, and then they just found another target. Hopefully that will help them on the next match, which is, I believe, Tower Control on Undertow.
Yeah, we see Magic 8-Ball adapt their comp a lot. It didn't look like that adaptation really worked into their favor just because of how the Reef Sliders were not quite finding their mark. You saw them repeatedly kind of use just to find initiation on their home zone, but the picks didn't go their way. You did see a lot promising from them, however, as when they did go 2 players down, the other 2 were able to find a flank onto the rest of Fickle Fishies. So it is still a very contested match and set no matter what, as both these teams have been just adapting to each other, adapting to how they play. And I'm sure the adaptations haven't stopped yet, with now us being reset back to best of 3.
Yeah, this is definitely going to be a lot more adaptations here, with one game being taken by Fickle Fishes. Do you think Magic 8-Ball is going to adapt back to what they originally were doing, or do you think it's going to be something new entirely?
I mean, we'll just have to wait and see here. There is a lot of possibilities, but it is only a matter of how you're able to find utilizations in your own weapons. It does look like we will be seeing a switch back. They do, Magic 8-Ball did look at their drawing board and saying, you know, let's just go back to what worked. You do see the slight change. I believe Mouse now going to a different paintbrush, if I'm not mistaken, now going for that Tenna missile one as well, which can be a very good special for getting people off the tower.
I was going to say, that's another tower-specific special they're definitely going to want to have. I did notice the different paintbrush, and I think that might be working out for them, so it does come at the cost of the rest of that kit. Stamp for Ultra Stamp immediately going in. Will that be finding a pick there? No, but they're going around, hopefully getting again. immediately out, unfortunately. They don't find the pick, they find the trade as 3 go down on Magic 8 Ball's side.
Yeah, and I believe actually a delayed wipe in total as Fickle Fishies now look to counter. The first checkpoint on this map, usually a given. The second checkpoint, very common theme for all tower maps, usually the most notoriously difficult ones to kind of push through. Layden picking up back where they left off, managing to find breaks on that edit. Does go down, though, to Dodo on this wiper, trying to end the onslaught before Layden can kind of build up a kill streak. Dodo now being the one to get their own aggressiveness, finds another onto Snail and trying to clean up with this hammer as well, looking to build on the lead that Magic 8 Ball has already built.
Yeah, they saw the picks that were going down and they decided to take a couple of their own, ending with that trade there with the enemy. Will they be able to keep it going? Let's see. One more going down on Magic 8 Ball's side. Ficklefish is taking a little bit of control, taking the tower, at least touching it. They're going a little bit forward. Checkpoint 1 is a little bit of a gimme. It definitely is here.
Yeah, especially if you have Layden leading your way with those whales, helping clean up these 2 picks, and now in a 2 down, a little bit of a stagger situation. Layden continuing to move forward, just taking all the space, being the frontal of Fickle Fishy's push. With that, they will take that lead in a very nice fashion. Mouse will clean up Layden, though, on that jump, and here is the counterattack coming in from Magic 8 Ball. They have yet to really work up past that first checkpoint after they were able to do so at the opening here, just because of how fast Fickle Fishies were able to respond, and we're seeing a little bit of a similar story here as early on 3 players go down for Magic 8 Ball.
Yeah, it seems like they make a lot of very aggressive plays and they don't seem to be working out, especially on their offensive side. They seem to be stopping Magic 8 Ball a little bit well enough, just enough to take lead, but will they be going even further?
Yeah, Mouse is trying to stay alive for that Kraken. Does eventually go down to EK here, but the aggression from Fickle Fishies on the other side, conversely, has been working wonders. You see it right there with EK taking that trade, a 2v2 situation for this tower, as Fickle Fish is just trying to slowly but surely work through that tower checkpoint, but Mouse is making sure that side is secure, and both teams have had both equal opportunities to get through this very difficult side. And I said the second checkpoint on tower maps are hard to push through for a reason, and we're seeing it here as both teams have been left to a bit of a stalemate, just trying to find anything to go their way.
Yeah, the next few minutes could really just be alternating between check 2, check 2, check 2 on each side. Almost like a poorly timed microphone check here. We're getting Edit going forward after getting 2 picks from Fickle Fishes. They're walking in, but getting a trade as they go out.
Yeah, so Magic 8 Ball looking very promising, especially since Mouse on this paintbrush creating so much space under that ledge does keep Fickle Fishies at bay and will allow Magic 8 Ball to push through that checkpoint. That is huge for Magic 8 Ball, as now not only do they have that lead, they don't have to worry about getting through that choke point any further. Now pressure and ball is in Fickle Fishies' court. EK trying to make something happen, trying to draw attention away on this brush, but both sides just throwing everything they can at the tower as it is still remaining on this right side.
Yeah, it seems like the tower, at least for now, is no longer under Magic 8 Ball's control, but what they showed there was that when they get back, they don't have to stop. They just keep getting those points. They don't have to wait at that choke point for any longer than they need to.
As EK moving in with this Kraken, as well as this Zapples has this Reef Slider available for them to use, slowly but surely waiting for their opportunity to strike, trying to contest that tower. Does go down though, and in a 2-player down situation, 3 now in total. Fickle Fish is looking very promising to get that wipeout, which they will. Now, late in the final 35 seconds, they will work to get past this second checkpoint, and now they don't have to worry about it anymore. But more importantly, this momentum is still going. The missiles being invested, as well as points are still being scored on the board for Fickle Fishy Snail, and EK being the last player standing, but still remaining firm. Snail, the last one on the tower, finds a wipeout with a really nicely placed bomb. All the jumps now onto the tower. I cannot believe they made it out alive in a 1v3. Fickle Fishies doesn't even give Magic 8 Ball a chance for overtime as they take game 3.
Wow. Okay, I don't have much words for that, many words for that. That was an incredibly placed bomb that got everyone that it needed to get at just the right time for them to keep going at that very end, get the score that they needed to win that game.
Yeah, and if I were to kind of draw anything from that, I feel like the pressure kind of got there from Magic 8 Ball. Down with them being able to get so much momentum, you had all the players of Magic 8 Ball just desperately trying to contest the tower, trying to jump onto the tower to stall it. But right here's the bomb that takes out two members of Magic 8 Ball on that right side, with Snail finding the third onto breaks as well. Such a rare opportunity for a weapon such as a Zap to do that, but hey. Support weapon who? I'll support you by killing the entire other team, and that's what they did right there.
Hey, if they're all gone, it just makes it easier for the other side. So I would say that's a pretty decent amount of support.
Absolutely. And now, in a bounce back effort, Fickle Fishy's looking very, very poised to take this one if they can keep this momentum going and trying to end this in a gentleman's sweep. On the other side, Magic 8 Ball. Still a lot that went right there, but just at the final moments, I'm sure the pressure kind of got to them and it kind of snowballed out of control. But maybe Clan Blitz, Barnacle, and Dime can give them a little bit more of a new life, a bit of a different mode for sure.
Yeah, it's the only mode we have left to see in this set. The last one's going to be Rainmaker. If they get to a game 5, this map, you're going to need to have a lot of pushing power if you want to get pretty much any score, much less enough of a score to maintain, take, or win that lead.
Absolutely. And what I mentioned in the previous set with it being Inkblot Clams, similar story for Barnacle and Dime Clams. The pushes need to continue snowballing. They need to keep going. Fickle Fishies definitely showed how they're able to create a snowball in a matter of mere seconds. Magic 8 Ball need to kind of bounce back. With this map, though, it is a lot more open, and we will be seeing some weapon comp changes here. On the side of Magic 8 Ball, we will see that Ink Brush and the return of Mouse on the Undercover Brella.
Yeah, the Undercover Brella is back. They saw that it got the paint, it got the sliders. Will they be using it effectively here? Only time will tell. This is a map where you honestly might just need 2 big teamfight wins to get a lot of score, and one might be going to Fickle Fishes right away. One down on each side, but one getting a little bit of a quicker jump back into their own stack. Cooler immediately coming out from that headed side as they are almost beginning to be surrounded on both sides. Brush behind them with 2. Are they just going to stay there? Where are they going?
Doesn't look like anyone on the side of Magic 8 Ball notices EK. Finally, Dodo will find them, but it is too little too late as 3 players in total for Magic 8 Ball have fallen. I was going to say breaks with that edit could create a little bit of a monopoly, a very difficult situation to push through if they're staying on that plat, but I mean, Fickle Fishies were able to take it in a matter of mere moments. EK moving up, finds one onto Mouse, and here comes the aggression from Fickle Fishies, the signature aggression that we saw previously as they are continuously finding these picks. Will they have the clams, though, to keep this basket open? The answer is no, but still, presence has been made and a wonderful lead has been created.
Yeah, they're going to need to wait a little bit to start scoring again, not just with the claims, but of course from that basket being lowered once again, but it seems like they're holding their own pretty well. That Wiper once again pushing forward, getting that aggression, but ultimately not being enough, getting picked by the group surrounding them. Specials coming out, possibly to make another quick push. Clams, a lot of clams from pretty much everyone on Fickle Fishes. Are they going to toss them, and if so, to who?
Yes, we'll have to wait and see, but Magic 8 Ball goes 3 players down yet again. Mouse being the only player on the side of Magic 8 Ball to stay alive, elects to camp the jump, but the push is going on for Fickle Fishies in the background here. They will at least draw 2 members of Fickle Fishies towards that plat area, so it does create so much space for Magic 8 Ball to move in and retake mid. It was a really nicely done job by them to just say, hey, look at me over here, ignore the objective, and it worked wonders as Fickle Fishies push slowed down and has created a great opportunity for Magic 8 Ball to stay alive in this game.
Yeah, they didn't even need to win that specific team fight, they just needed the other side to lose. They just need to buy enough time, and it seems like it worked out for them to get their team back into mid. One going down after getting a cooler, though, as that gal smelling blood in the water, fortunately making it out right before they were getting picked.
Yes, half the match to go. Still a lot of time to make something happen, but Layden on this gal creating so much space, just trying to aggress towards that plat area as they know it is the key point, the key holding point for either team, as once you have control of that, you can move in, and that's exactly what Fickle Fishies is doing. A bulb formed as well will knock that lead all the way down to the 28-point mark with this 10 of missiles also online will not have the time to use it, but the last couple of clans do make it now a 19-point remaining situation for Fickle Fishies, but the quick counter from Magic 8 Ball to get that wipeout could be a little bit of spelling of life here, just trying to see if they can get anything going, as unfortunately Dodo falls into the water. Oh no.
You hate to see it. You hate to see it. We go right back, though. They are not slowing down just because one took a little bath. The others are approaching rapidly, headed, grabbing that tower as their charge ends on the right. But a charge from the Kraken immediately taking them down. 3 down on their side as the slider comes in, hopefully to get one pick. They stay alive for now, but mid is about to be lost.
It is looking all Magic 8 Ball so far. Fickle Fish is just looking for, or all Fickle Fish, excuse me, as Magic 8 Ball just trying to see if there can be anything to be had. Dodo with that hammer is taken out as well, and it's looking like Magic 8 Ball have been unable to really move up this plat area. I mentioned the significance of it, but now with the Reslider moving in from Mouse, maybe they can make something of it, trying to see if they can be the spearhead. Does go down, though, with a minute remaining. It is looking dire for Magic 8 Ball to make anything going. You want to be able to kind of get these clams to make this last push hurt a lot if you want to get anything going.
Yeah, there's only 50 seconds left, so not much time for many more pushes. They're going to need to make this 1 or maybe 2 count. 1 go down on each side. They have a power clam, but not much else besides that. 1 immediately going down as well. That hammer, unfortunately, not getting much before it goes.
Yes, missiles available for Fickle Fishies who can just sit by and live to fight another day. They don't have any pressure to really move in, especially since they forced a 2-player down situation. This missile is just waiting for the opportune time to get it on as many people as possible. 20 seconds remaining, do or die time for Magic 8 Ball, who are already down in this set. If they lose this one, they are eliminated. 10 seconds left. Firstly, you need to get a ball at least in the possession of your players. You do have it in the possession of that brush, but now with overtime and a great lead to overcome, what can you do here?
That hammer coming out, but once again, not getting any picks. They haven't found much value with those hammers.
Oof.
Didn't find much value in general, as a full wipeout ends this game and the set.
Yeah, it
Are they
did
gonna rub
look
it
like...
in?
Yep, there
Yeah.
it is. And it looked like Fickle Fishies, after that initial loss, really found their footing in the most dominant match we have seen this entire set. They didn't let Magic 8 Ball take a single point off of them, and that's just the constant aggression we saw from Fickle Fishies, and the pace at which they played is so fast, and that's sometimes what differentiates teams.
Yeah, I mean, we're going back to this replay here with the Gal. One thing this Gal just kept on doing this set, apart from dying to the specifically the Wiper. The Wiper was able to stop them, but for most of the other side, they were just unable to avoid getting picked and getting 2-tapped by this 52.
And even when that Gal died, you saw the remainder of Fickle Fishies moved up the right side and reacted accordingly to take the advantage of where they saw it, and that's just what you want from your team, being able to trade off each other, being able to work off of each other and make up for each other's mistakes. And we saw it right there individually, all these players. You can tell they have FTIU experience and pedigree, but here they are again in finals. Is it their time to break their curse? We'll have to wait and see, as it is a very contested set in semifinals. 2-2 is the score currently, as Sora is banned, is still going up against Saturday Night Speedle.
They're going to a game 5. Whichever one wins will face off against Fickle Fishies in the finals. Whichever one loses will face against Magic 8 Ball in our 3rd place match.
Yes, but before that, we'll be taking our last break, but don't go anywhere. We will be back for the conclusion of who will be crowned FTIU Week 85 champions.
So don't leave me out of the thunder. You got my number, babe, you got my number. Don't leave me street. I'm not leaving until I leave with you. So don't you walk in the water, hold out your hand, walk to the altar. So don't you, 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 so don't. You've got my number, babe, you've got my number. here to do more than to just survive. We are here to do more than to just survive. We are here to do more than to just survive.
Well, we have quite the interesting finals here for FTIU week number 85. Saturday Night Speedle got the better of Sora is Banned in that game 5, completing the upset, and we now have the 4th seed Saturday Night Speedle versus the 3rd seeded Fickle Fishies here in finals, and we have a lot of storylines to really kind of work with, but more importantly, we saw both of these teams and some of their matches to even get to this point.
Yeah, we watched each win one of their sets in the gold bracket as they approach the finals. Now they're meeting each other. Something we noticed about each Fickle Fishes, making sure that aggression, especially from the 52, getting them pushes they need. But Saturday Night Speedle, very good at holding whenever they take. Unstoppable Force meeting a movable object here. Which one do you think will prevail?
It's going to be hard to tell, but both teams have this gold bracket experience. They are familiar with this, as we mentioned before in their matchup. We saw that Fickle Fishies did place 3rd 3 times in previous FTIUs, but similar story with Saturday Night Speedle with a top 3 performance or a top 4 performance in their previous 3 FTIUs in 83, 82, and 81. So both teams just itching to get that victory here. So now, this is where all that practice leads up to. All of those sufferings, all those defeats, they will replay in your mind, but this is your time to break through that. We will start, though, on Clan Blitz Scourge.
Clan Blitz Scorch, this one will be an interesting one. I'm excited to see which team is going to have better control, especially of that mid area. Have we seen this one before? No, that was only in pools, wasn't it?
Mm-hmm. Yes, so we have seen a lot of Clan Blitz matches, but hopefully you're not sick of it too yet, because this Grand Finals will be a Clan Blitz sandwich, with it being our 1st and 5th game. But with Scourge Gorge in particular, we saw how Saturday Night Speedle was able to get use of that Tenebrella and really make it work wonders, with Avocado being that player, really creating so much space in their own kind. But on the side of Fickle Fishies, I'm interested to see kind of what you mentioned between immovable object versus unstoppable force, with Fickle Fishies looking like that unstoppable force. We saw them complete that gentleman's sweep in the previous game with such aggression.
Yeah, they just had so much power in every push that they made and used it really, really well. We just saw them leave an absolutely incredible Clan Blitz game of their own. And I'm excited to see if they can find the same success here.
Absolutely, but the lobby is almost set, just trying to wait for those last few players to hop in. But like I mentioned, a lot on the line between both sides. Obviously, being crowned FTIU winners is the goal here, but with both sides already having some of that championship experience, it's just really a matter of who's going to be able to make those adjustments, who's able to take advantage of the other team's weaknesses better, and who is able to bounce back. Because still, best of 5, it is not over until you lose 3, so both sides really will have to wage war here.
Yeah, regardless, a streak of seconds and thirds is going to be broken. And who it's going to be broken by is going to be the team that adapts to the other just that little bit better.
Absolutely, and we saw both sides with their comps. Talked a little bit about how Saturday Night Speedle is able to move in with their drawing attention with their Brella and maybe their Wiper on one side, and then the rest of the team is able to get some key picks with the other side with that distraction. But we see a similar story with Fickle Fishies, and specifically their gal, Layden.
Yeah, Layden in our last matches showed that they were the force to be reckoned with. They just kept pushing, kept fighting, kept winning, kept picking. Will they be able to push through that fence shield? That wall is certainly going to help, but there's only one way to find out.
Yes, the final ticks are ticking down. Still plenty of time to tick down. Only one player left to pick their weapons here, but I'm sure they're using that time to maybe get some nerves out of them, maybe trying to hype themselves up, as both sides this is a place they've seen before, just on the opposite side. We keep hyping it up for a reason. This is what you have been practicing for, so it's up to who will arise to the challenge, and both sides have the weapons to do so. I mean, with Fickle Fishies, such an aggressive comp that will move in, and we saw how dominant they are on Clan Blitz. Will they continue that success? We'll have to wait and see as we move to game 1.
We don't know for sure. Let's see those comps. Tent is being brought back.
Yes, and on the other side for Fickle Fishies, same comp that they've been running. The key difference from at least what I'm noticing, Saturday Night Speedo will be going with that V-shot for the Zuka, the double Zuka as a matter of fact, so make sure you find cover if you're on the side of Fickle Fishies, maybe trying to see if they can get any initiation picks off of that, but EK being sneakily as always on this right side with the Octobrush looks to maybe get something going.
Yeah, they just barely don't manage to get out, but that was a very promising look for them as they were able to get just around to the right without them being seen. Getting another pick, though, and a jump likely being camped as well. Power Clan right by the other basket. Will they be able to make a push with this? They drop down, managing to avoid the wrath of that rush for now as a hammer comes in, getting the trade.
Yeah, but elbow possession has been gained by Saturday Night Speedo, just trying to move up this right side, but Fickle Fishies look like they're rallying really nicely, managing to find the better of lane here. Is Avogador on this 10 umbrella, just trying to be that spearhead of their own team, but Fickle Fishies does manage to rally. 1 minute has passed and neither side has gained much ground besides that one push, so reset back to neutral as Fickle Fishies works to get their clam economy in check. 15 clams to 5 here as we see them just trying to build up for that next opportunity they may find, and they might find it here as 2 players on the side of Saturday Night Speedo go down.
Yeah, 2 picks pretty quickly, allowing them to get a good push, but Saturday Night Speedo, we've seen in the past, they are that immovable object. They somehow kept managing to find ways to take very disadvantageous positions and work with it, try to avoid, stop the bleeding, as we've said a little bit, to their benefit, and it seems like it's been working just for now, but that pressure is building as they approach that barrier.
Yes, Layden on this gal, moving forward, trying to lead their own push, but yet again countered and thwarted by Avogador, and still, neither side has been able to get in a meaningful push as we are still scoreless here. Both sides trading blows, waiting for that golden opportunity to strike. Sauce trying to make it happen on their own, managing to find one, drawing attention away. So much presence being created by them. They're moving so far up this zone onto this flank here, but EK finds them. You have Erskine with the Zuka finding another onto Layden, and this will finally break the stalemate that we've been seeing from both sides.
Yeah, that Wiper went down, but with it, it distracted 2 of the other side, letting them get that power clan in for those points. It's within 2 power clans as the barrier closes once again, so it still is anyone's game. But we've seen how difficult a push is to be made against either team. Will they be able to recover?
Yes, we did see that Saturday Night Speedo does lose 2 members, so forced back, just trying to live to fight another day. Still, though, a very manageable lead. If you're on the side of Saturday Night Speedo, on the side of Fickle Fishies, you have the penalty clam to really work with the penalty ball to really try to get in a single counter attack, but it is going to be very, very difficult against Saturday Night Speedo, who have proven time and time again they have been very, very resilient.
Yeah, they just keep avoiding getting hits whenever they can. They get a jump, unfortunately they go down. Power Clan jumping out, trying to keep the plans that they currently have. They're going to need them for a push at some point. Speaking of pushes, it looks like Saturday Night Speedo might be making one of their own.
Yeah, but a very slow game to be played. Very, very neutral fighting in mid as both sides just trading players, trading picks. Layden does find 2, will break the stalemate a little bit, and now gives a little bit of an advantage to Saturday Night Speedo. However, they are taken out as well. So, yet again, we're just reset to a lot of neutral. Will benefit Saturday Night Speedo, of course, because they have nothing to really worry about. Avery finds 2 to halt what looks very, very promising for Fickle Fishies, as that ball will not be claimed by Fickle Fishies. You have Sauce on this right side, poking away, but trying to make something happen, as Fickle Fishies making it really difficult for themselves to push through their own elbow.
Yeah, every single time that we've been seeing these 2 go forward, some pushes have been successful. Another one being successful for Speedle. at this point as the barrier opens up, but especially throughout the rest of this match, we've seen Speedle lose a lot and then say, "You shall not pass."
Absolutely, and Fickle Fishy's strength is their fast-moving aggressiveness, and for 4 minutes and 30 seconds of this match, we haven't seen much of it. They've been thwarted at every corner, 2 players down, but Saturday Night Speedle are a resilient bunch. 3 players now in total. This could be the opportunity they need. That is a delayed wipeout. It is never over till it is over. You have the ball being formed, 15 seconds left. You have to think this is the golden opportunity for them to maybe get something. Layden finds one, but will there be more just to try to keep this one alive? The jumps are coming in. Snail throwing in some more clams. A very slim lead is still in the possession of Fickle Fishy. EK being the only player left, trying to draw attention away from the rest of their team, but it doesn't look like there will be anyone to take advantage of it as the ball jump isn't in time, and Saturday Night Speedle survive game 1.
Yeah, we had said earlier, Unstoppable Force versus Immovable Object both seemed pretty unstoppable when they clashed, but it just looked like Saturday Night Speedle just managed to keep them out.
Yeah, for Fickle Fishies, it was just too little too late for 4 minutes and 30 seconds of it. Like I mentioned, there was not a lot of ground gained by them, always thwarted before they can move up that elbow area, and with that final hurrah, they were able to get it very, very close. Just the picks didn't quite go their way. They didn't have just a couple more clams to make that one count, and Saturday Night Speedle were able to counterattack really, really effectively, not once, but twice, and that really is what it comes down to. Who is able to control that mid-fight more, who is able to push off the other team's mistakes, and we just saw it went the way a little bit better for them.
Yeah, not to mention when they made those pushes, they needed to make them with value. There was a close enough score at the end there where if they didn't get that extra value, especially from their first push, they might have been a lot closer and possibly could have lost to that final hurrah.
Absolutely. And we moved from what I thought would be a very back and forth map, which it was, to another back and forth map, Shipshape Cargo Zones.
One of my favorite zones maps. I love staying on that right mid area. I don't know about anyone else. I don't know where they're going to be here, but I'm looking forward to see exactly how they try to push past there, try to take control.
And it seems like Avok Otter on that 10 umbrella keep harping on them because they've just been such a problem for the teams that face them. Pickle Fishies look like they didn't have quite the answers to really deal with them. It wasn't until Layden was able to take them out with that gal before they were able to move forward. Pickle Fishies just trying to see if they can find anything to recover, because Avok Otter not only creates so many opportunities for the rest of the team to kind of move on with, they're facing a team that has that same coordination, same speed that they haven't really seen yet. So both sides now equally matched. Let's see how this one resets with Saturday Night Speedle with that advantage.
Ooh, a junior coming out on the other side. Otherwise, pretty similar comps that we've seen in the past, both rushing towards that zone. Will this can provide value to get some picks in the opening?
Yeah, I also like the choice just for zones in particular. Give yourself some more paint support that Fickle Fishies would definitely be missing if they chose something else here. 2 specials online for Fickle Fishies, including that bubble to really move forward with, and this is the aggressiveness you love to see from Fickle Fishies, already in control of that zone. Do have to worry about this 10 umbrella on the right side, always drawing the attention of several members away. Layden will find the better of them there, and that will be a very quick lead for Fickle Fishies.
Yeah, this gal seems to have found their element again in their natural habitat. Of their prey, of course, being the enemy's team as they take after pick. Hammer coming up, hopefully trying to get something there. Not getting a pick, but getting some more paint on that zone. Throwing up a hammer for possibly a little bit of chip on the side before almost going down to a bomb.
Yeah, Sauce is trying to do anything they can to contest onto that zone here, but EK moving in with this Kraken, trying to hunt for them, trying to find that pick. Won't quite find much value, but at least draws the attention away. Does go down in that skirmish, but with Fickle Fishy still in a strong control of zone. Time is running out for Saturday Night Speedle to get in some form of contention before this zone spirals out of control. Zuka is available, but the bubble inside zone will make it so difficult for Saturday Night Speedle to move in. 2 players finally go down for Fickle Fishies, and now it is go time for Saturday Night Speedle.
Yeah, they realized they needed to change where they focused, and once they did that, they immediately got the picks they needed to run ahead, take control of zone. It doesn't seem like it'll be a permanent change, though, as it immediately goes back to Fickle Fishes. Very tough fights in mid specials coming out from Speedle. Zuka just barely not getting the pick there. Zone taking and losing and taking and losing. One down on each side for now. Mid seems to go for Speedle, though.
Yes, just both sides desperately contesting over each other. Avogadro yet again drops on this right side to draw so much attention. Zuka being popped as well, and you see the amount of players that have to keep an eye on them. 2 players in total down for Fickle Fishies. Now a third with that Zuka, and could be a delayed wipeout if Snail falls. They do, and with that space being created, no penalty to really worry about. It is Saturday Night Speedle's time to put on the hurt, kind of get back some vengeance of what happened to them earlier in this match.
Yeah, they are going forward. They do not care about anything in front of them. They are just pushing. Unfortunately, it doesn't seem to be working for them as 3 almost immediately go down. Zones seemingly taking back control by Fickle Fishes as they spread out, cover all of their sightlines.
Yes, a hefty penalty will be applied though, and 3 specials online. An unfortunate disconnect in deep into this game will mean this game will continuously played out as Saturday Night Speedle now perma 1 down, basically an almost impossible task to ask for, especially given the game state situation. Quick wipeout to boot as well, and a very unfortunate moment in this game.
Yeah, it's very unfortunate that the disconnect happened. Match must go on. They do have a chance, but of course, with 3 down, it's almost like they're taking every push with just that slight bit disadvantage. 12 points left. They are going to need to make some kind of effort to go forward. With 5, is it going to happen? It doesn't look like it, and that's game.
Really nicely done there from Fickle Fishies from beginning to end. Yes, the unfortunate disconnect was there, but it looks like Fickle Fishies was able to take reign of their own destiny, really able to play to more of what we normally expected from them, what we saw in that previous set, and this is the Fickle Fishies that got to finals. This is how they love to play, that aggressive style, that never letting control of zone era, where they just constantly took the fight straight to Saturday Night Speedle.
Yeah, it seems like, especially in that last match, they didn't quite know how to control this tent here, who we're seeing again just surviving and surviving and surviving. But what they ended up doing was, at least for most of the match, finding out ways to tame it.
Absolutely. And yes, the disconnect was unfortunate. Maybe you could argue that if they were able to play with 4 players, Saturday Night Speedle might be able to bring that one back. But it is what it is as we move to Game 3, reset to best of 3. We are moving now to our tower control map, TC Mako Mart.
TC Mako Mart, one of the tower control stages of all time. I like it better with zones, but it's definitely not bad here. Stacks are very important here. Not quite sure if they're going to be able to take any pushes without those.
Absolutely, and the first weapon that comes to mind is Fickle Fishy's EK. That Octobrush can create so much pressure with its range, being able to take control of those important spaces such as that plat area, those more aggressive areas where you want a weapon such as an Octobrush that just creates so much frontline pressure that's just able to sit up there basically uncontested for most weapons. That's really can be the X factor in some of these games, especially given the flexibility of the weapon. You can also camp under the ledges that are very, very predominant on this map.
Yeah, we've seen, especially with these specific teams, Speedle in the past, able to hold on to a push that they make. So if they're able to get those, it seems like they're not going to be letting go anytime soon.
Absolutely. Final seconds ticking down. We will continue with this, moving to Game 3. Tower control, very, very prone for more AoE weapons, more weapons that can kind of combo off of each other. But both these teams have been running what they've been running, so I don't expect any major changes. Maybe 1 or 2 here and there, but we'll have to wait and see.
Let's check. Tent coming back out, shot switching to the T-Tech, and Junior coming back out on Fickle Fishes.
Yeah, another key change. We will see the T-Tech being brought out, an old love of mine, really just brought out for those trip strikes. A GG special, really, is all I'm saying, and it's always nice, always appreciated on TC here. You do see 2 players on the side of Saturday Night Speedle electing to go to this right side, trying to draw attention away, but Fickle Fishies picking up back where they left off in that previous game, really accustomed to their own power moving in we'll find a little bit of lag, and there is the DC. I think we'll be having a replay on this, if I'm not mistaken. Yes, there it
Looks
is.
like it. Yeah, very well fought, especially for Fishes in this first thing. In this very opening push, unfortunately, the disconnect means it will be replayed. It means Saturday Night Speedo is going to need to find a way to adapt around that.
Yeah, just taking a look at the comps that were brought, Fickle Fishies bringing back that same similar comp to what they ran last time, and with that junior being played for the Bubble, another special that's really, really good. On zones, being conversed on the other side by those trip strikes going to be a very, very key matchup to kind of really work on and look at. Is their special usage? I think that's what it all comes down to at this stage in finals, just how well you're able to get value out of your own specials and how well you can trade off of the other team specials, because special economy is another important factor in this.
Yeah, I mean, in the past, we've seen the value of each of these teams with their specials against their previous opponents in gold bracket, one of which especially making the enemy team not be able to use theirs as well either, with those hammers not finding much purchase against, I believe that was Fickle Fishes.
Yes, absolutely. So both sides really just trying to find their get together. Hopefully we'll be having a grand finals with no more DCs, knock on wood, as we want this to be a very, very entertaining one. Of course, you have your stimulation on your screen right there, just to keep your attention there. Jingle, jingle. We're still in grand finals, as I'm sure both these sides now just itching to continue to move on, but at this stage, you're definitely feeling that fatigue.
Yeah, I definitely get the fatigue here. That's definitely, especially with the replays, just adding more time waiting in this lobby, nerves building up. What else is building up is the score of the subway surfers on the top right. I cannot keep my eyes off of that.
Yeah, absolutely. It is very, very interesting. Another one I always look at is the story on the left, just because of the random things I get here and there of just what's going on in a story. It's always completely random to me. But hey, it keeps our goo brains alive. But regardless, both sides, I'm sure, having the opposite experience of us. Instead of us being laid back, they're probably a little bit stressed out right now, just trying to see what is going on with that good old Wi-Fi. But I mean, both sides have really given their formulas to us, and I'm sure you've picked up on it as well, as kind of their signature, how they want to win and how they want to take each match.
Yeah, that's the key part right there, that formula to win. They need a plan. You can be the best skilled person ever, but if you don't have a plan with your team, you're not going to be able to act on that plan. You're not going to be able to win without a plan. These teams have shown us the plans that they need for success. It's just a matter of which one can act on it better.
Yes, there's plans and there's executions. It's a 50-50 balance that you really have to find. And at this point, now, with both sides taking a game off and now bit familiar with how each other love to play, love their tendencies, it all comes down to execution here. We'll be doing a redo of game number 3. Hopefully no DCs. Let's jump into it.
Crossing my fingers, hoping for no DCs here. I believe the comps have to remain the same. I'm excited to see both comps on both sides.
Yes, same comps, of course, here. Still with the trip strikes on the side of Saturday Night Speedo. Fickle Fishies sticking with that junior for the bubble utility. Let's see if it will be a similar opening if Fickle Fishies can continue that aggressive play style. We see it already with Layden moving on this left side, already taking so much space and trying to pinch with the rest of Fickle Fishies, managing to find one.
Yeah, it seems like Saturday Night Speedo chose a more defensive option of just rushing for their own stack. Unfortunately, it still didn't seem to work out, though it did work out a little bit better for them. They still do lose that initial team fight as Fickle Fishes is going down through checkpoint 1.
Yes, and this aggressiveness continuing to move forward. Snail being that vanguard on that edit, creating so much space just by existing on that tower, with the rest of Fickle Fishies responding really, really nicely, already moving towards that second checkpoint. A very difficult part to move through, but EK might have cleared the path as 2 players fall. Fickle Fishies moving slowly but surely towards that area. Saturday Night Speedo are left wailing now with 2 more players down. They are constantly left in the stagger area. We could be seeing a straight 100-0, especially if this bubble is placed in due time. The desperation jump onto the tower as well, but oh my goodness, they will take that one.
Just did not stop. It pretty much didn't stop. They just kept on going. That push that they got originally led to such a snowball there.
And this is Fickle Fishies. If there's any game you want to point to that is Fickle Fishies, this is it right here. This is so similar to what we saw in Game 4 of semifinals, where they were pretty dominant over Magic 8 Ball. We see it here yet again, a signature Fickle Fishies masterclass, constantly taking the fight straight towards Saturday Night Speedo. But can we talk about that Octobrush? EK just constantly on that left side area, taking so much space for Saturday Night Speedo that they were always in a snowball, always in a 2 or 3 player down situation that left the red carpet wide open for the tower to move.
Yeah, as long as there is space forward that they can go to, they will be going there. You can count on that, especially on Mega Mart here. We just saw them just keep on moving, keep on pushing. Unstoppable.
Unstoppable for sure, but a wake-up call for Saturday Night Speedo. They have broken the tie. Fickle Fishies broke the tie with that game and now sit 1 game away from victory. Saturday Night Speedo now left in a tough situation. They looked so promising in that game 1, but now with 2 straight L's. It is time for some adaptation, some form of change, maybe in terms of execution or weapon comp, but we'll have to wait and see as Undertow Spillway Rainmaker awaits us.
Yeah, I mean, in the past, we've seen them change their comp a couple of times, but a lot of the changes that they made, especially when they swapped off the tent, didn't seem to work super well. How much do you think they're going to change here?
I'd imagine they still stick with that nucleus of the Tenebrilla at the very minimum, just because of how narrow that alleyway is on that left side, moving up that area. The Tenebrilla can shield a big part of it, and can be the spearhead to many pushes, but in terms of the rest of their comp and their execution, it seems solid, but Fickle Fishies have found the answer to uncracking the core of Saturday Night Speedo. So if you want to adjust something, it has to be something that Fickle Fishies can't answer.
Yeah, that sword seems to be piercing the shield right now, and they're really going to need to either bolster that shield or find a better way around that sword.
Yeah, but both sides sticking with that same comp. Saturday Night Speedo just have to work on that execution, because Fickle Fishies looks so dominant. You need to stop EK and Layden, kind of the dynamic leading duo for Fickle Fishies and their spearhead aggressive pushes. But Rainmaker Shield and Pop will go in favor of Saturday Night Speedo, so a little bit more space he had, but more importantly, you kind of have to deal with these players, like I mentioned, on the side of Fickle Fishies.
Yeah, I mean, Saturday Night Speedo has a lot of their members doing exactly what we've seen in the past, that tent taking a lot of space on the right, taking a lot of attention. We see people on Fickle Fishies just reacting to said attention and getting the picks that they needed to seemingly stop the pushes. 3, no, 4 go down.
As the Fickle Fishies are playing with a little bit of anger, playing with a little bit of aggressiveness. This is the team that has been in a second place first. This could be their opportunity to get it. 1 player down, numbers advantage on the side of Fickle Fishies as they move forward. Rainmaker being popped as well, just desperately going for any points available. They will manage to get it to a 33-point situation with 2 players down. Does spell the end of that push, but what a lead already with only 1 minute passing.
Yeah, they really are taking to this with determination. Every 2 weeks they get back and they get second, they get third. They're not settling for that today. They're not going down without a fight.
Absolutely. And on the other side, Saturday Night Speedo, I'm sure, feeling the same way. They don't want to repeat any more of history. They want to bring this one back. Backs against the wall. A huge lead already by Fickle Fishies. They need to pull up and respond here. Hammer being popped. EK is there to try to contest it, but Sauce will stay alive. You have the Kraken and the Tenebrella moving up on that right side as well. Sauce finding 2 players down in total for the side of Saturday Night Speedo, who are looking to respond with their own checkpoint.
Yeah, they just keep pushing. 1 is down. Another trade means that it's just 2, one of them being the Rainmaker. Seems like this push might be over before it starts.
Yes, and Layden always finding 2. Really nicely done on this gal. Opens the door for Fickle Fishies to move forward, and that's always what you want from your aggressive player. You want them to find at least 2 players before going down, but most importantly, Lane's still alive on this left side. A foreign in the side of Saturday Night Speedo that they need to deal with. You have players jumping on them. 3 players in total for Fickle Fishies fall, and we are reset back to a little bit more of a neutral situation. Of course, will favor Fickle Fishies, as they don't have any checkpoint to worry about, while Saturday Night Speedo has to work through this choke point.
Yeah, they're trying to make a push to get to that checkpoint, but at least for now, they're going to need to just make that push with a little bit more energy. Bombs going in, trying to stop them for now, and almost working, but that hammer coming in, making sure they can close that short-range distance and make sure that they get that check, stopping them as well.
Yes, Zuka available here. Fickle Fishies cannot be too overconfident, though. This elbow and points can go so fast if you're not careful. Layton throwing down that wall just to try to buy some time, but they go 2 players down. Sauce with his Rainmaker moving up this left side. Yet again, they will be contested and taken out, however, as both sides just desperately trying to fight and trade blows over this Rainmaker. EK moving in with the Octoburst to create so much space for the rest of their team. They'll find the 1-for-2 trade, which is really nicely done, giving Fickle Fishy some more breathing room just to live to fight another day. Layton trying to pop the Rainmaker, still heavily contested on this elbow area as both sides just trading blows.
It just keeps being pick after pick after pick after trade after pick after trade. Rainmaker's still just sitting pretty in the corner. 2 are down on Saturday Night Speedo, but 1 down on Fickle Fishes. They pick up the rain. Are they resetting it? They fall right down.
Yes, very smart move from Fickle Fishies. That fight was lasting a very long time, dangerously so, as now it buys Fickle Fishies a bit more time to regroup, recuperate, live to fight another day, but also conversely gives Saturday Night Speedo some more time to hit with their second effort. Zuka is available from the V-Shot. Hammer is as well. I believe the Tetrabella already popped theirs. Lane gets that trade onto the Hammer bought by Sauce, but with a minute remaining, do or die time for Saturday Night Speedo as they still don't have that lead.
Yeah, they're going to need to make just a little bit more of a push than they have in the past to get past that 33 points from Fickle Fishes and turn this into a game 5. But there is a lot of people in front of them, especially a Kraken, who can just ignore all the pressure they're applying, run straight towards them, and get the rain backing out to avoid getting picked themselves as they're applying further pressure. This 52 gal, once again, like a shark smelling blood in the water 20 miles away and running forward towards them, getting picked, but also distracting them for long enough for Fickle Fishes to almost get popped.
Yes, but now do or die time. 15 seconds remaining. Go time for Saturday Night Speedo to get this pop. All Fickle Fishies has to do, though, is sit on this choke point. The Rainmaker so covered in the orange ink. 5 seconds left. Desperation setting in. Moving forward. Saturday Night Speedo will at least get the pop, but someone needs to pick up the Rainmaker. No one is able to pick up the Rainmaker in time, and that means Fickle Fishies will take grand finals in a 3-1 final set, winning FTIU Week 85 and finally ending the curse, all the pain, all the hardship, finally tasting gold, and they will be crowned FTIU champions.
And what a worthy performance to get that gold it was. We just kept on seeing them push and win and push and win. They did not give up. They did not let go.
Yes, and like I mentioned, so many defeats, once, twice, thrice, they got second, and now all of it is over. It was all worth it. I can imagine the PC is popping off right now because I can just imagine the hardship, the training, the amount of time they took to practice continue to get better, and finally we will see the victory, the spoils of that practice. GG's to Fickle Fishies. But on the other hand, Saturday Night Speedo as well put up a valiant effort. That game came down to the final wire.
Just a couple of seconds and it might have gone to a game 5, especially because they seemed like they were starting to adapt pretty well to the hyper aggression from Fickle Fishes. They took that first game and then just unfortunately let those second, third, and fourth ones slip through their fingers.
Yes, of course, but oh, how sweet victory must taste. GG's to both teams for that one, but with that being said, that will be the end of us here at Under Pressure for FTIU. Of course, we have some housekeeping as always. Where can we find you, Tiger?
On Twitter, I am Mr. Cheese Tiger, and on Blue Sky, I'm CheeseTiger.me. Where can we find you?
Yeah, you can find me at Rocket1 on Blue Sky. You can also find me at Rocket_Splat on Twitch. Shout out to our wonderful streamer, Atonic, aka Nate, for being such a wonderful streamer throughout this entire FTIU. But with that being said, we are saying goodbye and good night for this edition of FTIU. See you next time.